for 8:30, and it'll be televised on Amazon Prime. In the NFL, the Texans will be without quarterback C.J. Stroud again this week as he's still experiencing concussion symptoms. Davis Mills gets to start when they take on the Titans Sunday at noon. It's playoff time in high school football, and our high school football game of the week is a bi-district round matchup between Brandeis and Sotomayor. It all starts at 7 with the pregame tonight.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
On a football Friday, it is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Jason Minix out at Ferris Stadium for our final high school broadcast of the season. While the playoffs will continue, this is where we will end our coverage. And I tell you what, going solo on this Friday afternoon because old Joe Reinagle, well, he's down in the Houston area getting ready for a football season wedding.
Good
Kicking,
old Joe.
Screaming. You know, and I was talking about this last night with my wife because, you know, it's his stepdaughter, whatever, however you want to call it. It's interesting, you know, it's his wife's daughter, but he has known Courtney forever. In fact, Courtney and one of Joe's daughters were really good friends back when they were in high school. It's kind of how Maggie and Joe met. So obviously very special. But at the same time, she's been with this dude for years. And they schedule a football season wedding. And I got a little bit of trouble last night because I was giving Reinagle all kinds of crap. And I was reminded, I think it was last year, I had to go to a football season wedding. I was kicking and screaming because one of my daughter's best friends, Kerbo, she got married. And I think it was 2 years ago, although it was in December, late December, damn near Christmas, when my niece got married. And you know, then my wife started going through, you talk a big game, but you've gone to 2 in the last couple of years. But then I quickly, and here's where I messed up, reminded her of the, I don't know, dozen or so weddings she went to solo. And somehow I got in trouble for that because apparently I was in trouble then and I had just forgotten because I did look at some weddings and went like, I'm not, no, look at the game. And, you know, I like them, but I don't really know them. Those are your friends. You go have a good time. I ain't going. And somehow I got in trouble last night a little bit for reminding her of how many weddings she's gone to alone because I refused to go, even though she was trying to say, you talk a big game, but, and I guess it does factor into who is in your life. Now, I was talking to a good friend of mine last weekend who has a wedding that he has to go to the weekend of the A&M game, A&M Texas game.
Oh.
Well, and see, he is diehard Aggie, and he's got tickets to said game. His wife understands Aggie, but she ain't diehard. And she was like, no, we're going to the wedding. He was like, baby, you don't understand. He was like, no, you don't understand. And it was like, what time is the wedding? I will make the wedding, but I'm going to the game as well. The wedding is on Saturday, game is on Friday. I can do both. I just won't be there for all the stuff happening over the weekend. Now, the same guy, he's got a wedding this weekend because his bonus daughter is getting married, and can't say that he's overly thrilled with the timing, but, you know, it's the South Carolina game. It ain't the Texas game.
Couldn't be Samford weekend.
Well, I mean, you would think people would schedule ahead. The problem is you book these weddings so far out in advance. And the other big thing, and I don't know if I'm a big fan of this or not, like another one of Erica's friends, Hondo, he's getting married in a couple of weeks, but on a Friday because venues are cheaper. Mm-hmm. And, well, I'm not going. I'll be at Army Navy. But at the same time, I think Rob's son is, I know he's got a football season wedding, which I can't believe is actually happening. But I think his is going to be on a Friday too, right?
I
because
think
I was
so.
like,
It's a year from yesterday.
well, yeah, it's like, dude, why do you plan a wedding that far in advance? I mean, I just, that's all you're going to hear about and talk about for the next year is the wedding. And from a guy's perspective, she's the one that grew up dreaming about what her wedding day is going to be like. You just have to show up and be somewhat sober. Now, she's going to want you involved, right? But when she gives you options, she really doesn't want your opinion. She wants you to agree with her.
Confirmation.
Again, I've been married 30 years, and I still will never forget. Do you like this one, or that one? I like that one. What's wrong with this one? Nothing. Let's go with that one. I don't care, right? But you can't say you don't care. I mean, it's just one of those things. But to be planned out for a year, just the number of fights that you're going to have over dumb stuff like napkins. Why would you torture yourself like that? And then you get married during football. And I told Jack when he said it was going to be a Friday. And I was like, well, I've got high school football. He's like, you could miss. I said, I can't miss. I'm trying to think about how many Fridays I have missed in the years in which I've been doing high school football. And there's not many. I know that way back, I missed a playoff game when I was doing Smithson Valley games exclusively because my wife's graduation was happening for one of her gazillion degrees. And that was a Smithson Valley Katy playoff game in which I missed the Andy Dalton game. And outside of that, I don't think that I've missed very many. And, here we are at the end of our broadcast schedule, my 28th year of doing high school football. And, 12 weeks goes by fast, but there are some weeks in there that take forever, and and because of the way we do things, you're not paired up with a team and then, playoff games get in there and all the other commitments of the radio station. A lot of the games will end up going on a Saturday and then, and stadium available. It's just, we do one playoff game and we call it a season. Plus, I got a hunting trip next weekend, so
nice.
You just kind of roll that way. Well, it's scheduled around football, and when does football season end? I get my first weekend in forever, and you go from there, and you kind of do that.
And then concert season's right around the corner.
Concert season is right around the corner. That's what my wife says. We've got 2 seasons: football season and concert season. And, and then Friday nights off. And that's the one thing about high school football. It does lead to a lot of 6 a.m. Saturday flights if there's something this time of year that I've got to go do.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. And, of course, you got the Spurs playing tonight. You've got a lot of great high school football playoff games. I think we've got one of the best, if not the best, first-round matchup. Brandeis and Sotomayor, they played a triple overtime thriller during the regular season. And, a lot of times you'll see first-round games kind of like what we saw last night, lopsided because you got some district champs taking on the fourth playoff team versus the one. I kind of like the 2-3 matchups. It's always seems to be a little bit more competitive. So, you just kind of roll that way. But lots to get into on this Friday. We will talk a lot of Spurs today. They got that big cup game thing with the Golden State Warriors. Former Spur NBA champ, UTSA legend, Devin Brown is going to join us at 4:35. Obviously, it's a big college weekend with A&M having a big game, a bigger game than I think most realize. This is big for Texas A&M. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, will join us at 3:35 as he does every Friday. And obviously, we'll talk a lot about Texas-Georgia. That Texas-Georgia game, you'll be able to listen to here on 94.1 tomorrow afternoon. So you think about your college football tomorrow. 11 a.m. kickoff between Texas A&M and South Carolina right here on 94.1. And then, if you're in a blind somewhere, just keep the radio going because we will have that Texas-Georgia game at 6:30 right here on 94.1. Pregame starts an hour before. You know how that stuff works. You're worried about kickoff. So it's a full weekend of football. Then we'll have NFL on Sunday. And then, of course, Monday night, you get the Cowboys and the Raiders. Cowboys back at work. Been a tough week for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about it as we continue here on the Blitz 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Or if you're watching on YouTube, appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. You can always comment in there as well. When you need an electrician, you know Hill Electric is available for both residential and commercial needs. I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my home through the years. They put up a big spotlight over one of the grills outside, extra outlets in the garage because the builder never puts enough in there. They fixed a light, they moved a light, they put dimmer lights in the living room. They're great at what they do. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. And whatever your project is, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price. Never a service charge, always free estimates. So it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done. So call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074. 404-9074 or hill-electric.com.
South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Monday night at 7:15 p.m. After a bye week, the Cowboys are center stage on Monday Night Football for the second time this month. This time in Sin City, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Pre-game at 6. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, the Davis Law Firm, Hornitos Tequila, Connecticut, and Jim Beam. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hi, everybody. Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas. I absolutely love the Golf Club of Texas. They've made so many improvements to the golf course, from brand new cart paths to resodding the greens and fairways. You might think it's a private club, but it's not. It's open to the public 7 days a week. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, you know where it is, right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
How about them Cowboys? We rise as one in Texas, sporting handed-down silver and blue jerseys. We come together for America's team every time they take the field. So let's share a round of Jim Beam and lemonade on game day together, because people are good for you, especially for us in Cowboys country. Presented by Jim Beam, bringing fans together across Cowboys country. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
It's back, just in time for the holidays, the UTSA Roadrunners Holiday Auction. Bid on over 100 incredible items, including gift cards, electronics, trips, and much, much more. Imagine doing all your Christmas shopping without the hassle of holiday crowds. Best of all auction proceeds directly benefit the Roadrunners football program. It's a true win-win opportunity. Go to 210cityfans.org and start bidding today. That's 210cityfans.org, and Merry Christmas.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Nigel, why is there a giant turkey standing on my desk?
That's Harold.
Well, then whisper these words, Nigel. Deep fried. From all of us at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, we hope your Thanksgiving is filled with food, family, and fellowship. We couldn't ask for a better community to be a part of. So thank you, and happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074E M16004.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Pork rinds are the crunch time hero of the snack aisle. Low carb, college impact, and high in protein, so you can keep the energy high without the guilt. The porkrinds.com Instagram will make a crunch time donation with each share of the Crunch Time Hero college football post, with each share equaling a $1 donation to the Archer Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to helping families dealing with DIPG, DMG, pediatric brain cancer. Share on Instagram today and grab yourself a bag of Southern Recipe pork rinds at HEB.
The Morning Huddle.
I'm looking up at the game, the Krakens, or whatever they are.
Oh, the Storm.
Did you watch any of the
lady basketball? Oh God, no! What are you crazy?
Well, I know it was playoffs, and we got done with our dinner.
Question
so
that was.
It's about 8:00, and I've got about 2-hour window to watch something.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 90 Antonio Sports Star.
On a football Friday, it is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Ryan Eagle out today. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Friday. You can always be a part of the show. Comment there on the comment section on the YouTube page. Just search out the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, comment there. Tweet at Jason Minix. The old-fashioned way. It's me and you on a Friday. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Of course, James Pledger producing as always. And it's going to be the third Sunday in a row without the Dallas Cowboys, which it's always a little bit weird. I mean, they're always in a primetime window, but, you know, they had a Monday game, a bye, and then they come back with a Monday game. And so the week's a little bit different. And obviously this week has been extremely different and difficult for the Dallas Cowboys, but they've got to get back to work. They do have a game on Monday night. They don't have much of a shot at the playoffs, but if they don't win, they don't beat the Raiders, there's no hope for the playoffs. To keep their slim chances alive, they got to get out to Las Vegas and they got to get a win. I mean, and this is a very winnable game for the Dallas Cowboys. One of the things, though, is, I mean, the Raiders, Geno Smith, he could end up looking like a Hall of Famer against that Cowboys defense. But to be fair, Cowboys defense has a lot of new dudes. I mean, all that work they did before the trade deadline. They're getting some guys healthy. Brian Schottenheimer, Cowboys head coach, on the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ this morning, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, was talking about those new additions to the Cowboys defense.
The good news is this, obviously Quinnen's been around, Aaron White-Cotton, our defensive line coach. So again, there's an easy way to translate a lot of that stuff. He's obviously an incredible player. We know that. And his football acumen and just his love for the game is very evident when you sit and talk to him for 90 seconds. You can feel it jumping out of him. And again, one of the things we loved about Logan Wilson was his football IQ and ability to dissect things. And so the playbook will not be the problem at all. Those guys will definitely be ready to play. It's us finding, like you said, the best ways to plug those guys in, along with a number of guys we've got coming back that I'm sure we'll talk about. Demo coming back and getting Siobhan Rebel going a little bit. We just started the practice window for Malik Hooker. That's exciting. And again, it's a good problem to have as a coaching staff of, okay, how do we want to piece these guys back together? But we'll be smart with these guys that haven't played football for a while, guys like Demo and Vaughn, and whether you want to call it a pitch count or a ramp up, type of deal. We'll be intelligent, but it's going to be hard to keep Demo and those guys off the field.
And that's true, and we'll see. But it's you think about Quinnen Williams, who they got from the Jets in that trade, in the game last night, where literally they just kind of rugby scrummed their running back over the goal line, and I think the commentator said, boy, wouldn't Williams be nice right there? So you had him and a Kenny Clark. We'll see defensively, and can they get to the quarterback? Brian Schottenheimer talked about getting pressure on Geno Smith.
Yeah, for sure. And really, I think when you look at Geno's interceptions, I mean, again, a lot of it is based off of the pass rush and how you're able to affect him. And I think he's been sacked like 27 times. So let's hope that continues. Sorry, Geno. But I hope that continues, on Monday night. And that's a huge, huge part of it. But in terms of guys taking risks and things like that, I think it's again, they're going to play their technique. They're going to trust their keys. They're going to, trust what they see from splits and things like that. But I do believe that we're going to get some opportunities to get the ball in our hands, and we just have to capitalize on those and make the plays.
Well, and again, defensively, most of us should not have a high expectation for this Cowboys defense. Although, can they get some sacks? We've seen them get some sacks. Can that secondary cover anybody? Can't say we've seen a lot of that. But in the Cowboys defense has a unique ability of making an average quarterback look fantastic. And obviously that's not a compliment. So it's going to be on Dak Prescott in the Cowboys offense. And really on the offensive line, what do they do about that Max Crosby guy?
Well, I think, you see the first thing would be Max Crosby. I mean, the guy's an incredible player. I know he's a local player. He's an incredible talent. His motor is unmatched in the National Football League, in my opinion. He literally, we were talking about, well, yeah, when he comes out, maybe we can do this or maybe we can do that. And it's like, he doesn't come out. Okay, cool. That's very unusual, by the way. I mean, this guy's play time is over like 92 or 93%. And he's just an elite player and very disruptive, both run and pass. So that's one. And then again, I do think on offense, they really want to run the football, and they want, they drafted Ashton Genty high for a reason, and we all know the talent of him. And the quarterback is a guy I'm very familiar with, Geno Smith. We were together in Seattle, one of my favorite people in the world, and truly one of the most pure passers. If you were just watching 10 elite or 10 NFL quarterbacks throw a football, guys, I'd be honest with you. I mean, Geno might throw the prettiest ball of anybody I've ever been around. It's just, it's pure. It's incredible. And then, of course, the other thing would be Brock Bowers. I mean, this tight end, he has a chance to revolutionize the game at that position because of his athleticism. And he's a great route runner. He's got great hands, great body control. But, man, when he has the ball in his hands, he runs like a runner. And so they definitely have some weapons that we need to be very aware of on both sides of the ball.
Well, and that's true. But at the same time, you look at it, the Raiders haven't been good all year. Cowboys haven't been good all year. But this is a game that the Cowboys should be able to go win. No matter what you thought the outlook of this Cowboys season was going to be, when you were doing like we all do and say we hate, win-loss, this was a win. And granted, the Cowboys travel, Cowboy fans travel. The fact that it's their first ever game in Las Vegas, I know a lot of people that are heading out to Vegas this weekend to go watch a game in that stadium, and it's got the ability to, I don't want to say feel like a Cowboys home game because the Raiders fan base, the Raider Nation is strong, but kind of like at Jerry World, it's a destination stadium for visiting teams to go. And so there's always a high percentage of opposing team fans. A lot of Cowboy fans are going to be in Las Vegas. So that should help maybe. But like I said, it's just been such a weird week for the Dallas Cowboys because you did have the tragedy with Marshawn Kneeland and the guys coming back. And, to a man, all these guys have said nothing but complimentary things on the way Brian Schottenheimer has led the group in dealing with a tragedy. And this morning with Rob and AJ, he talked about how you have to balance honoring Marshawn Kneeland, but still going out and doing your job.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you asking, number one. And, we certainly, we're not ready to get the tragic news of Marshawn passing. And, it's been a process. It's been a kind of a one day at a time deal where you just try to, okay, sun's going to come up tomorrow. What's it look like? And, I've told the team through, all the people that we've talked to, we don't move on, but we do move forward. And so yesterday was a big step for us because, we were kind of back into, meetings and game planning and practicing. And, I just want to, shout out our players and just their strength, their inner strength, and their support for one another has been incredible. Practice yesterday, I thought was very good. The energy was very good. And let's be honest, guys, the best way for us to honor Marshawn is the way we play on the field and win games. We're certainly going to, do our part to, take care of Catalina, his girlfriend, and Marshawn's family. And that's a big part of what, our guys, that matters to them, as it should. But the honoring of Marshawn will be with the way we play the game.
And again, we'll ultimately see, because everybody's going to react a little bit differently. It's a winnable game, but any athlete, and we've seen it over and over and over again, and probably a lot of you listening, me, getting back to work and putting your mind on something different is the best therapy. And being at practice this week, probably great therapy. It's when you're not doing much and, you're kind of just alone with your thoughts. That's when to me, it's difficult. And I know everybody processes things a lot differently. And, when you look in the locker room, they're going to be looking for them. And again, because their job is so public, that makes it even more difficult, right? I know when, Greg Shelton passed away at our radio station, the hallway where his office is, I avoided that for several weeks. I just didn't even want to walk by his office, and so imagine somebody with that has a locker right next to or whatever, just how difficult it can be. But getting out onto the field is hopefully very good for this team, and maybe that extra inspiration, because look, they know just like we know, although they've got to have the attitude that they can go in and keep those playoff hopes alive until they're mathematically eliminated. There's not a person in that locker room that's sitting there going, yeah, we've got no shot. Let's just go through the motions. I can sit there and say, well, looking at the schedule, they might have 2 or 3 more wins at most. I also have a little slip on my fridge that I really would like them to get to 8. But, maybe they can, but I'm not counting on it. This team does not look like a playoff team because the defense is so bad. It's better now, and getting some of these guys back and healthy, it's just too little too late. And it's because of games like the Arizona game. I mean, everybody probably thought they were going to win that Arizona game on a Monday night, and that didn't happen. They've got a couple like that where you go, how do you not get that win? And then, of course, you have that tie with the Green Bay Packers. Now even after the tie, we're like, dude, they tied the Packers, man. That was a pretty good game. That's pretty, but they haven't played like that, especially away from home. So it's yeah. I mean, I see Daniel Rodriguez on YouTube says, does that tie get you to 8? No, dude, the tie doesn't get you to 8. It keeps you from maybe getting to 8. They got to have more than 8 wins. So I don't think the tie helps me out. It just sucks. For what I have from Cirque, I've got to go look. Was it 7.5 or 8.5? I think it was 7.5. Might have been 8.5. I was really confident in my Cowboys coming into this year, like most Cowboy fans. A little delusional. I'll admit. Honestly, I don't think I was overly delusional, because when in August, there was still a Micah Parsons on the team, thought the defense might be a little bit better, and the offense doing what we expected early. And that's my biggest concern with this team. Defense sucks. Cool. I'm good with that. What is wrong with this Cowboys offense? 10 points against Arizona's defense. They didn't play well against Denver. To me, that's the biggest concern. When you look at everything that the Cowboys have on the offensive side, and I know the O-line isn't great, but Dak Prescott, I expect more. Ferguson hasn't played well in the last couple of weeks. When you look at all of it, I mean, that's kind of one of the crazier things is, I don't know. And even Shotty was saying this morning, they haven't done a good job of taking care of that football.
Yeah, totally. Again, it's just there's so many huge momentum swings, and I think what I'm really, in answering the question, I'm thinking about is, man, we kind of started the year, behind the 8 ball. We turned it over early, and we put ourselves at one point. We were in, I think, game 2 or 3, we were -5 in the giveaway takeaway battle, and then we battled back and we went 4 straight games. Think about this: 4 straight games where we, number one, didn't turn it over on offense. And then we took it over at least once on defense. And so we flipped that number, and we went from dead last in the NFL to, I think, top 10 or top, somewhere in that realm. And then, unfortunately, just against Arizona, our lack of ball security, lack of locking the ball up in traffic, things like that kind of took over, and we need to be better, because it is the largest determining factor of winning and losing in this league. Because of why? Well, momentum, short fields, and again, it can be very deflating. So we usually play well, execute well when we take care of the football, and it's the first thing that stands out when you talk our football mantra. It's winning the turnover battle, and quite honestly, that's kind of where we find ourselves right now, and why that game kind of got away from us.
Mm-hmm. Turnovers, reasons, excuses, all there. Cowboys, Raiders on Monday night. But, man, there's a lot of really good games coming up Sunday. Let's talk about it. Coming up here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star and on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Of course, Spurs and Warriors playing tonight. You got all the great college football on at Saturday. The pros on at Sunday, and the best place to get in on all the action, make picks, and win money in Texas is on Underdog. Love playing on Underdog because it's easy and, quite frankly, it's fun. All you got to do is pick whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, touchdowns. Like I look at Brandon Aubrey, field goals and extra points, total points. You can go receptions. Always, so many different ways to build out your pick-em entry and get all your picks right. You could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Download the Underdog app today. Sign up with promo code STAR to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Pro Football Pick'em giveaway is back. Head to SASportsStar.com and pick the winners of each pro football game every week to earn points for each correct pick. Highest points each week wins a $25 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Highest points overall scores $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Ticket. Pick the winning ticket of every regular season game. Win the grand prize, $50,000. This is an audience national contest across multiple markets. The 50K Pro Football Giveaway. Register and win at SASportsStar.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
We have a you just lost a listener email.
Oh,
the
no.
comments are, what the F is your show? Your snickering minions and yourself are terrible at comedy. Whatever you people get paid to do this is too much.
You just lost a listener.
Sounds like the same PD we lost about 5 weeks ago.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hi, I got hurt in a wreck, but I don't know if it's really worth getting an attorney.
Don't worry, you called the right place.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7, and you don't pay unless we win. We recently secured a jury verdict for $210 million in a wrongful death case. So if you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Currently, we're farming about 800 acres, and every year we're looking at what we can do to improve our farm, plant fertility, higher yields. That all starts with ag research.
Every year, America's research universities drive over $3.4 billion in agricultural science that supports U.S. farmers.
I want to keep this family farm in our family.
Help protect American farmers. Visit research4.us. Paid for by Research for a Stronger America.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Awesome Tickets is your personal ticket broker. Big games, big concerts, big events. Need tickets? Stay local and call Awesome Tickets. Stop paying all those crazy fees on ticket apps. Awesome Tickets has your tickets for all the sports, concerts, any city, any event. Avoid the ticket app fees. Since 1994, Awesome Tickets is local and veteran-owned. You deserve Awesome Tickets. Call 210-226-5136 or online at awesometix.com. That's awesometix.com.
Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only 100% night harvested agave. And you might be saying, well, why do I care when it's harvested? It allows the agave to be harvested while it's resting and out of the brutal heat. Benefits to workers who would normally work into the heat of the day. It's just better for the flavoring. And speaking of flavoring, it's 100% additive free. No flavoring, sweetening, or coloring added, and it's unfiltered. Live your life unfiltered and do it with Blue Star Tequila. Find Blue Star Tequila at Alamo City Liquors, Costco, Specs, and Total Wine.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-2521. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results vary. Consult with your tax professional prior to enrollment.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday morning at 11, the Aggies take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Presented by Just Ponce. Pre-game at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Look at old James Pledger doing some serious producing, knowing that if he plays Little Los Lonely Boys, I'll give away those Los Lonely Boys tickets we have for February 13th at the Aztec Theater. If you don't win the tickets, you can always buy them at livenation.com, but you can win a pair of tickets to go see Los Lonely Boys. February 13th, plenty of time to plan. Be caller 13 right now, and you will be the winner. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Again, caller 13. You win a pair of tickets to see Los Lonely Boys at the Aztec Theater. If you don't win them, livenation.com. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel off on this Friday. he's got to go to a football season wedding. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate that. You can always subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, comment in there. And really, another Sunday without the Cowboys is on deck. But there are some really good football games featuring good football teams. Because, we're not talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Really all in the late windows. You get to wake up with the Command Skins and the Dolphins. A great 3-7 matchup. Both teams 3-7. En route to Spain. It's the last of the NFL international games. I kind of like the Dolphins in this one. Washington just seemingly so beat up, and maybe just recency bias. But Miami figured some things out against Buffalo. Will that make its way over to Spain for this game? But a lot of times, if I see Washington and a chance to pick against them, I'm going to take that. Carolina, Atlanta could actually end up being a sneaky good game. Bills and Buccaneers at Buffalo. Both teams 6-3. Tampa Bay is just so beat up. And Buffalo coming off of a bad loss. At home, I like Buffalo in that one, but Tampa Bay just needs to get healthy. Chargers, Jaguars, and again, it's the Chargers. They're kind of like the Cowboys. You expect them to win some of these games, and they just don't. They should be able to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bears, Vikings as a really interesting, could be a really interesting matchup. Because at some point, J.J. McCarthy has to answer the question of whether or not he is the guy. And Chicago's been playing better football. They're winning games. They're 6-3. This game is at Minnesota. A lot of pressure on J.J. McCarthy to play up to the level that they thought that he was going to be. Another early game in the noon window, Green Bay against the New York Giants. That one could be entertaining just because we get to see Jameis Winston. And you don't know if Jameis Winston is going to throw 4 touchdowns or 4 interceptions or maybe both. I do know that the post-game press conference will be entertaining with Jameis Winston. But the Packers, here's a team that after they made the trade for Micah Parsons, a lot of people had them, and I'm going to put myself in this category, as a team that I thought would at least make the conference championship game. They're sitting there at 5-3-1. The defense has been good, not great. Offense has been sporadic at best. When it's rolling, man, Jordan Love looks like a great quarterback. And when it's not, you wonder how in the hell he's got the job and the contract that he has. This should be a get-right game for the Green Bay Packers. But with the Giants, first game without Brian Daboll as head coach, who the hell knows what to expect from them? It's kind of like the Bengals-Steelers game. At home, Pittsburgh, they need a game like this. What's going to happen there? Who knows? I mean, Pittsburgh, Joe Flacco, I don't know. Houston, the Texans on the road against the 1-8 Tennessee Titans. Davis Mills at quarterback. Some of those young wide receivers that are getting playing time for Houston. The problem is Tennessee will play competent football for about 2 quarters. And you've only really seen competent football from the Houston Texans in most of their games for about 2 quarters. Can there be carryover from that incredible fourth quarter? Houston, their defense should have a field day against Cam Ward and that Tennessee Titans offense. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 defensive scores by Houston on Sunday. And Texans, Houston should win this going away. But Davis Mills, and again, Davis was a starter. It's Houston. I don't know. San Francisco should have an easy get-right game against Carolina. And then you look at the 3 o'clock games. And this is where you either need multiple TVs, picture-in-picture, whatever the case. But I say 3 of the 4 afternoon games, 3 o'clock games, are going to be fantastic. San Francisco, Arizona is not on that list. But you look at Seattle against the Rams, the Ravens and Browns, and then, of course, the Chiefs and Broncos. All right, so 2 of the 4 are going to be really good games. So maybe you only need 2 TVs. The 7-2 Seahawks at the 7-2 Los Angeles Rams. That game, it will be where my attention is at. That will be on the main TV because Seattle all of a sudden, and I say all of a sudden because they've been playing good football all year, but they're right there now where you have to look at the Seattle Seahawks as a legit Super Bowl contender. The Rams, I know Drake May was on national TV last night and had another impressive game and is the current betting odds favorite to win MVP. My MVP is in Los Angeles with the Rams. If I had a vote and had to cast it today, it would be to Matthew Stafford. Stafford, who has never won an MVP. And he's having an MVP type season, but also I think he might get some votes as kind of the career achievement, because when you look at where he's at on all the lists and all the accomplishments, and the fact that he doesn't have one seems a little surprising. But I look at what Matthew Stafford has done this year, how he has his Rams team playing, and to me, he would be MVP over Drake May. And I'm not taking anything away from what I see out of Drake May, but I mean, I go with Stafford. If you want to make the case for Drake May, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. But then you also look at what Seattle has done, what Sam Darnold has done. And Sam isn't going to be in that conversation, but Seattle's defense is incredible. Offensively, efficient is probably the best word to use to describe the Seattle Seahawks. I love what I'm seeing out of Seattle. I think that is going to be one hell of a football game, probably the best game of the weekend. I hope it can live up to the hype when you get these 7-2 teams that are going up against each other. You know, another one in the late afternoon window, Chiefs and Broncos. And, you know, the Broncos are sitting there at 8-2. And Denver should be 9-1 at the very least. That loss to the Colts, dumb, and again, penalty on a field goal that allowed Indianapolis to get the net. They should be 9-1, and I know they kicked the crap out of the Cowboys, but Bo Nix is so up and down, and the Chiefs are getting their weapons back. Big rivalry matchup. Can Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs go into Denver and play good enough defense for 4 quarters, and the offense does what you expect them to do, and go from there? I think that's going to be a great game. And then your Sunday night game, Lions and Eagles. This game is at Philadelphia. Part of me, the drama this week in Philly and with A.J. Brown, if you're Nick Sirianni, do you tell your offensive coordinator, we got to target A.J. Brown? Or do they go just play their game? You know, sometimes when you have, especially diva wide receivers, throw fits like you're seeing from A.J. Brown, you get offensive coordinators and quarterbacks that say, okay, we're going to force feed you the ball. And that could be a bad recipe. And A.J. told everybody, if you got me in fantasy, sit me. And I'm thinking now, I might, if I had him, I would probably plug him in, because the tendencies are going to be to try to force feed him the football. Detroit, especially with what you saw last week from Dan Campbell, taking over the play calling duties. He knows how he wants it to look. And remember, he promoted from within when Ben Johnson left, and it wasn't looking that way. And so Dan Campbell took it over and, got everybody involved. You wonder, does Nick Sirianni do something similar? Because Philly's offense hasn't looked right. They got a great record. They figure out ways to win. I hate them. But you wonder, does Sirianni take a little page out of Dan Campbell's playbook and have a little bit more involvement, input, or call the plays? And does he try to feed A.J. Brown a little bit more? The other thing that concerns me for Detroit, and Pledge, back me up on this. Jared Goff in cold weather isn't necessarily great. And I think it's going to be pretty crappy weather-wise in Philadelphia. And keep in mind, it's a Sunday night game. So it's going to be that East Coast cold outdoor game. And Goff can play well outdoors, and he plays well on the road. But I'm trying to remember what his record is in cold weather games. And this is going to be one of those cold weather games that you wonder, is that going to work against a Jared Goff? And they have all these different stats on quarterbacks and whatnot. And that would be the one thing, the weather, checking the forecast in Philadelphia, that might have me take Philadelphia in this game. And again, Philly's at home. Trying to think if what's the line on that game. Let's see. Philly at home favored by 2.5 over the Detroit Lions in a cold weather game. See, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions went in there and won, just because I don't know if the Eagles' offense can keep up with Detroit's offense unless they are force-feeding A.J. Brown the ball. And they need more out of Saquon Barkley. And the drama this week, is that A.J. Brown just being A.J. Brown, or is that A.J. Brown being a diva wide receiver and he's unhappy and kind of mentally checked out? That's going to be the $1 million question.
6-5-1 in games under 39 degrees. And
6-5-1.
He's got 11 touchdowns to 9 interceptions when it's below 39 degrees. And his passer rating goes down from 95.1 to 75.53.
So, that's a better record than I thought. And that's through his career. Can you break that down, or is there a breakdown of just his time in Detroit? Although with Detroit, he was on better teams. But, remember, he was on that Rams team that he took to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But it is around 500. Damn, a tie in there. It's better than what I thought. But that would be one of the things that concerns me about just like initially, man, I'm taking Detroit. Philly, except for Philly is that team that, and you know how every coach says every year is a new year. While their record is great, they don't have the look of the defending Super Bowl champions. They're not rolling people like they did a year ago. Now, a big part of that is Saquon isn't having the year that he had. And Jalen Hurts, I truly believe he does not give a damn about his stats. He cares about winning, and he doesn't care if he wins ugly or not. But that record in cold weather, to me, a little bit better than I thought it was going to be, but it's not great. He's not known as a cold weather quarterback.
Well, he's a California guy.
Well, he is a California, but it's like C.J. Stroud is a California guy, but played his college ball at Ohio State, right? And has learned how to play in the cold weather. There are some guys, doesn't matter where you grew up, you're either good or not so good in cold weather. That's why they keep stats like that.
Yeah, but to be fair, most of his time he was a California guy, went to Cal, then played for the Rams.
Yeah. And now he's in Detroit, but they play indoors.
Exactly.
And granted, you think a lot, his cold weather games, especially in Detroit, you're going to have a roadie at Green Bay. You're going to have a roadie at Chicago. Although, and then you get all these other games. You just look at it and you sit there and you say, it is what it is. And I look like Matthew Stafford. He's one of those that, like his game this week, big game right now, even though last night everybody today is talking about Drake May for MVP. And he played great last night. And those interesting uniforms that New England was wearing last night.
Those are nice.
Were they?
I liked them.
I like the helmet. The jerseys look kind of cool up close, but with the camera far away, not so much. And I thought it was weird that both teams were wearing white pants. You don't see a lot of teams where they're both wearing white pants once you get out of the 8th grade. You know what I mean? It to me, I thought that was a little odd. It was a good look. I really like the helmet more than anything. The jerseys, yeah. And those letter jacket type things that they were wearing with the NE on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although J.J. Watt got me off of pros wearing letter jacket looking things a long time ago, ironically, against New England.
Ironically, indeed.
Yeah. Although you sure wanted to buy one of those.
I did.
J.J. Watt
I
letter
liked them. They were
jackets
sick.
until they got destroyed in them.
Tom Brady did that a lot to him.
Yeah, he did. Drake May, I'm not taking New England looks like they have found a quarterback. They got a coach and a quarterback. They got a coach and a quarterback.
And remember, they were taking calls up to that pick to trade it away.
Uh-huh. But I mean, all these guys, if you've got the right quarterback with the right coach and everything that they're doing, it can work. I mean, to a degree, Drake May is reminding me of when Joe Burrow, the rare times that dude is healthy. But you remember when Joe Burrow took Cincinnati to the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. Played the Rams.
Drake May is playing that kind of football. The difference is Joe Burrow came in with all the hype after taking LSU to the Natty. And Drake May didn't have that kind of college career. I mean, he had a solid college career. Don't get me wrong. North Carolina, Mac Brown as the head coach, Phil Longo as his offensive coordinator. But, he wasn't in all the Heisman talk, and, he wasn't in the playoffs. He didn't win a national championship, and, here you go. But, and even Daniel Jones, another unhyped guy coming out of college and a pick, and everybody went, what the? But you look at what he's doing now. In the right system with the right coach. Sam Darnold is there, Baker Mayfield, but New England, they look like they're going to win the AFC East. Sorry, Buffalo. And they're going to be a playoff team. I mean, I look at their record. It's not like they're going to lose, out, because I think that'd be the only way New England doesn't win the playoff. But I mean, they're just playing well. Playing well.
Josh McDaniels is a hell of an offensive coordinator, and those guys that weathered the Travion Henderson restriction on touches early in the fantasy career, it is paying dividends over the last 3 weeks.
I'm curious with his 3 touchdowns last night, how many people had him still on the bench?
I would scold every single one of them because he showed you the previous 2 weeks he is worth the start.
Well, and again, early on, they were going with their veteran guy who was fumbling it, and now that I'm happy for Vrabel, that's for sure. Out of Tennessee and getting it done there in New England. One of his teammates, though, didn't get into the end zone last night. Mr. Diggs did not score. I think that snapped a 4 or 5 game touchdown streak for him, but he did have something to celebrate last night. We'll talk about it coming up on the Headline Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
From a fender bender to a total loss, Davis Law Firm has a team of expert attorneys ready to get you back on the road with the verdict or settlement you deserve. Y hablamos español. Want more? Call the Fours. Davis Law Firm, San Antonio, 444-4444.
It's a little quiet on the border these days. Illegal border crossings at an all-time low because Donald Trump and Senator John Cornyn have been fighting side by side to seal the border. Cornyn has led the charge in the Senate, funding more agents, more technology, and more miles of secure border wall, beating back Biden's border failures, taking the fight directly to the cartels. Cornyn stands with President Trump, voting with him 99% of the time, supporting Trump's nominees, confirming conservative judges who defend our Constitution, and together, Trump and Cornyn put America first. They've worked to keep our families safe and our border defended. Yep, it's quieter on the border now because real leadership gets results. Call and thank Senator John Cornyn, 713-572-3337, and tell him to keep delivering Trump's agenda. Paid for by Lone Star Freedom Project, LoneStarFreedomProject.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
Nigel, why is there a giant turkey standing on my desk?
That's Harold.
Well, then whisper these words, Nigel. Deep fried. From all of us at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, we hope your Thanksgiving is filled with food, family, and fellowship. We couldn't ask for a better community to be a part of. So thank you, and happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In college football, third-ranked Texas A&M's back at home at Kyle Field to take on South Carolina tomorrow. Kickoff set for 11, and it's a game you can catch on your home for the Aggies. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star starting at 10 with the pregame. UTSA's on the road to take on Charlotte with kickoff set for 11 in the morning as well. 6th-ranked Texas Tech welcomes UCF into Lubbock for a 2:30 kick on Fox, and the 10th-ranked Texas Longhorns will be in Athens, Georgia to take on the 5th-ranked Bulldogs. Kickoff set for 6:30, and it's a game you can catch on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star starting at 6 with the pregame.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
On a football Friday, it is the Blitz here on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagle has this Friday off. He's at a wedding. Well, a wedding weekend. The wedding is actually tomorrow. He's got the fancy rehearsal dinner happening tonight. And he thinks he's going to watch football all day tomorrow until the wedding and then watch football after. And we all know that is not going to happen. But lots to get into here on this Friday as we are live out at Ferris Stadium. We'll have our final high school broadcast of the year tonight. Our Quarter Moon Plumbing High School Game of the Week energized by Hill Electric. Brandeis against Sotomayor, a by-district playoff game. We go 11 regular season games, then 1 playoff game, and that's it for us. And, boy, we've got a good one tonight between the Wildcats and the Broncos. They played in the regular season, a non-district matchup that went to triple overtime. So expecting a great game tonight here at Ferris Stadium. Always such a cool place to come out to, because, where we are, 1604, and they've got the natatorium over to my right. And there's obviously some sort of swim meet going on there. And I find it interesting the fans move higher to stay in the shade because, I guess they don't want to be in the sun on this glorious day. About 85 degrees, and we're in November, which is incredible that this entire high school football season to date, there hasn't been weather factoring into any of the games. We haven't had any crazy storms, and it hasn't been stupid cold and really not all that windy for any of our games. So perfect 85-degree weather. I posted on my socials earlier, my picture from the stadium that I typically do, the office today, and some of my friends that live in other parts of the country where it's miserable sent me responses to the photos that I probably can't say on the radio, but because I did put the 84 degrees on there, and beautiful sun, not a cloud in the sky, and they're shoveling snow. I'm glad we live in San Antonio.
I mean, still need to get in a hot tub at night.
I mean,
it's not like pool weather.
I mean, if you got a heated pool, you could certainly go.
Well, I mean RPP.
As I'm seeing people over there at the swimming pool at the natatorium here, and people are walking around in shorts. It's still shorts weather, which in the middle of November, I will take 100 out of 100 times. I prefer this weather versus anything else. That is for sure. And if you're watching on YouTube wondering why I'm in a half zip, because it's 9 degrees in the press box. The air conditioner is still on full blast, and it is I don't know, cold as hell in here. So, you do have to, and look, like John Robbins, my stat guy, he comes to these press boxes. He always brings a jacket because he always gets cold.
The Georgia fan?
Well, it depends on who's playing. He'll be a Georgia fan this weekend. He claims to be an Aggie fan, although he does root for Georgia. He says for family. He's confused. He likes the Washington's football team, the Atlanta Braves. He's all over the place with his fandom. It
Just
makes
trying
no
to cover
sense.
the whole country?
Well, he doesn't have anything West Coast that I'm aware of. I mean, his family is from Georgia, so I'll give him that. The Aggie part, he graduated from UTSA. So John, he's confused on a lot of things. Let's do the headline blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
As a lot of you listening know, I was in the United States Navy, served in the Navy. And, when you're out there at sea, you see a lot of things. And there were some times when we were out to sea that, the cooks would take some meat that was no longer good. They'd put it on these big grappling hooks and fish for shark, and then they'd make shark, not all the time, but they did that a couple of times. And, you'd see whales that were out in the ocean. You would, dolphins, you see you realize there's all kinds of stuff in that water. But scientists, they catch sharks and they tag them. And again, if you watch Shark Week, I'm fascinated by sharks. They scare the hell out of me, but I am fascinated by sharks. Love Shark Week. But I don't want to see a shark when I'm in the ocean. I also love to go swimming in the ocean. And apparently these scientists from something called OSearch, it's like ocean and research combined into one, they have tagged what they are calling the largest male great white shark ever recorded. And it's on the move in the Atlantic Ocean. His name is Contender. And he was tagged off the Florida-Georgia coastline in January. And now they say this 1,653-pound shark that is only 13 feet long, I don't know why I thought it'd be bigger than that, about 32 years old, he's now hanging out in New Jersey off the Atlantic coast. Now, they don't say in this article where he is and how far off the coast he is. And granted, this time of year, you're not going to be in the ocean if you're going to anywhere along the Jersey Shore. Now, I was stationed in New Jersey, and me and some buddies had an apartment in New York. But, I've been to a lot of these beaches in New Jersey, and I just the idea that there is something that big that's floating around that they caught and then they released to track. It just pings all the time. That's their tracking system. But apparently, this shark goes up and down the East Coast as food sources move because of the weather. Go figure. There's a lot of stuff in that ocean. I would not want to see a 13-foot shark anywhere near any place I was at.
He just wants a hug, Jason.
It doesn't want a hug. It would like you for lunch. And then you're playing the Jaws music. No.
I taste terrible. You don't want me.
You say that, and that might be true. And really, I don't know. I mean, you see people, and if you watch Shark Week, they don't really like people. Apparently, we're not tasty. That's why you see like an arm, and then they spit it back out. But then I think about like the movie Jaws when, it was license plates and everything else. I mean, I don't know how picky they are, and it might depend on how hungry they are. I mean, Pledge, you eat everything, but you're a picky eater, but you're like a garbage disposal. You're like I'm having a barbecue at the house tomorrow, and I've told Pledge about an hour later than everybody else so that people can eat, because otherwise Pledge will just take all the ribs and nobody else will get to eat. So I told Pledge, well, I guess, I'm giving that secret out, but, I told Pledge come over at 8, and everybody else is, getting there for a kickoff for the Longhorn game.
We're watching football tomorrow. Be there by halftime.
Yeah, exactly. You're not invited for the whole game. You just get half the game so everybody else can eat. That, and Rob Thompson said, well, I'll be there at 11 for the Aggie game.
Come for Pac-12 after dark to finish what's left.
I mean, hey, Pledge, that's not a bad idea for you. You'll walk in and I'll automatically play closing time. Well, it's a possibility.
It's a good possibility.
It's a good possibility. Now you go from sharks to gators. There's always been this, like, I don't know, wives' tale myth or whatever, that there are alligators living in the sewers in New York City. And that apparently isn't true. At least they haven't found them. But they did find an alligator in Ovidio, Florida, wherever that is.
Of course, Florida.
Where? Well, of course, Florida. And again, it's Florida. Of course, there's gators everywhere. But some dudes were going in there to do some work and using the video camera to, figure out what they needed to do. And in the poop canal, here is an alligator, a 5-foot-long alligator, and it scared the crap out of those guys that work for the Public Works Department there in Florida.
A good place. They were already in a poop filled spot.
Well, I mean, the footage of it is gross and scary. I mean, if you can Google and find the video of this, I saw it from the New York Post, and I'm not sure if it was a guy that had like a camera on his helmet, because he kind of comes not necessarily face to face, but he's coming through this pipe, and I don't know what that guy gets paid to go through that pipe, but I can promise you it's not enough.
Nope.
And all of a sudden, here's this gator staring right at him. And there's a bit of a face-off, and then the dude with the camera is backing up quickly, as you might imagine.
That's why we invented drones.
Apparently, they haven't gotten to Florida, or they haven't gotten to the underground world yet. I don't know. Stephon Diggs didn't score a touchdown last night, but he did have a baby. So I guess you could say he scored 9 months ago. Cardi B gave birth to her 4th child. And this one, the father is Stephon Diggs.
Good game for him last night, too.
He had a great game last night, except for he didn't get into the end zone.
105 yards, though.
Yeah.
19 points. I'll take it.
No. Oh, do you have him on your team?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could go from there. Now, Pledge sent me this article, and I'm just going to read the headline.
There you go.
It's out of the New York Times. Headline: Adolf Hitler likely had a micro penis and just one ball.
Explains so much.
What?
It explains so much.
Uh-huh. So Pledge had to figure out, how do you define micro penis?
A phallus measuring less than 2 inches is the definition of a micro penis.
You're using all those big words, Pledge. So
not me, Webster.
Less than 2 inches is considered a micro penis. Now, how they determined one ball, I don't know. But if it's that small, you only need one, I suppose.
We can venture to guess why he was so angry.
Yeah, I sure. Apparently there's some documentary called Hitler's DNA Blueprint of a Dictator. It's going to air Saturday. And this was one of the revelations that he had a micro penis.
It's amazing what science can do.
What are you doing when you decide in your research project that is something that you're curious about and want to find out the length of a dictator like that? I mean, like, that'd be the first thing from my mind that I would want to know. Can we figure out, like, brain studies? What made the guy tick? Well, it was a micro penis. That led to a lot of the anger issues.
I don't
apparently.
want a big long thing down there.
We should have saved this for Monday because, Ryan Eagle can relate.
Poor Maggie.
Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, will join us coming up at 3:35 as A&M gets set to take on South Carolina tomorrow morning at Kyle Field. Longhorns probably in the biggest game of the day at Georgia. Let's talk about it next here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and AARP Texas are sending Cowboy fans to Jerry World to see America's team play all season long. How do you get in on the action? Head to sasportstar.com now and register to win. sasportstar.com. Live it up with the boys in the Big D from AARP Texas and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
The weather is heating up, and it is fantastic, and that is why we live in San Antonio and South Texas. We can play golf in November. A lot of other states wish they could do that. A lot of other states wish they had the Golf Club of Texas in their state. We certainly do. Not a private club, but it certainly has that country club feel. And I'm going to tell you what, all the money they have put into that golf course is just fantastic. Resodded all the fairways and greens. They've got brand new golf cart paths all over that golf course. Plus, they've got these xeriscape areas that just add to the beauty of what is already a beautiful piece of property. And when you go out there, you want to go out there hungry because the food is great at the Tin Cup Bar and Grill. Not just the food, they can make you any kind of cocktail you can think of. Plus, they've got a huge selection of ice-cold beer ready and waiting for you. It is just a fantastic place to go. And if you're not going to play golf, you ought to get out there this weekend and watch some football. A perfect place to go watch college or pro football or both. Get out there and enjoy yourself. Take the family with you as well. The Golf Club of Texas, you know exactly where it is. It's right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. Whether it's for dinner at the Tin Cup or round with your buddies, your next tournament, go check them out. Best rates always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
You know what's funny is driving here this morning, JD turns on his Nerdball Google Talker map thing. Swear to God, it started talking in the southern slang.
It did.
It really did. I caught it immediately. Now, if y'all are hungry, go up 2 more lights and take a left.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You know, I make decisions every day, but the easiest ones I've been making for the last several weeks are Dak Prescott. The more Dak is riding the wave, and I've been with him on Prize Picks, and being right can get you paid, especially when you're doing it on the weekly. Prize Picks has everything you need to have some fun on all your favorite games. If you like winning, you like to know what you're doing, Prize Picks is your answer, because you can do the research and you can go out and win. And it's so simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players, and you can get up to 2,000x on your money if you pick right. Now, they offer stacks is what I love. And you can pick the same player in up to 3 different venues and play them in the same lineup. And you can only find this at Prize Picks. That's why I go there every day. You want to know another reason? Alamo. Remember the code Alamo and you get $50 in lineups if you play your first $5 lineup. That's Alamo. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 in lineups. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
NCE General Contractors, based in San Antonio, is one of the fastest growing nationwide general contractors with a focus on commercial new construction, design build projects, building renovations, tenant finish outs, site upgrades, and building maintenance. NCE President Brian Ehrlich's a former Madison quarterback and proud to support high school football in San Antonio, building relationships first and buildings that last. Learn more about NCE General Contractors online at ncegc.co. That's ncegc.co.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Dallas Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer goes one-on-one and has some fun with the Morning Huddles, AJ and Rob, Friday mornings.
Brian Schottenheimer, good morning, Coach.
Hey, what's up, guys? I got to say, it was a weird transition for me to come on to the show and hear a bunch of moaning. And then I heard moaning and manning and all these things. It was really kind of weird. Edwin didn't prepare me for that.
Moaning? Coach, tell him. Can you tell the audience you've got no interest in drafting Arch Manning in the upcoming draft?
Brian Schottenheimer's unfiltered look at the Cowboys' upcoming game. Friday mornings, presented by AA Best Bail Bonds on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. You can always subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. If you're there, like, subscribe. You can always comment as well. As we get into college football, man, remember Last Chance U? Coach John Beam got shot yesterday and died this morning. Got shot on campus. He was working at Laney College in Oakland, and the police chief out there said that the coach and the suspected shooter knew each other, but that guy didn't play for Coach John Beam, and very little other details are known, and obviously the police chief or assistant chief didn't elaborate on much, but second 2 days in a row there was a shooting there at Laney College, and Coach Jim Beam died from the gunshot injuries. Interesting story that I'm sure there will be more of as more details are out. As far as games going on this weekend, it's one of those interesting weeks on the schedule. There are a couple of really, really good games. And then you got the rest of the teams just playing out, what look like pretty winnable one-sided games, which I don't expect this to be one of those chaotic upset Saturday kind of days, although I would like to see one upset, and that happened down in Athens, Georgia, where the Longhorns will take on the Georgia Bulldogs, a game you can listen to tomorrow evening right here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Now, one of the things that I find interesting is Texas gets ready to play Georgia. Third time, granted, they did meet in the playoffs and whatnot. A&M has only played Georgia once, and they've been in the SEC for a lot longer, but just one of the quirks of the schedule. Now, when you look at this game for Texas, and there are a lot of you out there that believe Texas needs to win out to make sure they have a spot in the playoff. Others of the quote-unquote experts say they've got to win 2 of their last 3. So for the Longhorns, they've got Georgia, then Arkansas, and they close out against Texas A&M. Now, if they win out, they're going to be in the playoffs. If they lose one, then they're going to have to hope that some other teams also lose one. And I look at this, and quite honestly, the top 3 are the only ones that I think can actually run the table, and that's Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Indiana. And yeah, I said that, meaning I think Texas A&M can go into Austin in a couple of weeks and win, which means Texas has to win this one. Now, if they lose to Georgia and they beat A&M, the committee is going to remember the last game that they saw. And if that's the one loss that Texas A&M gets, I think both teams would actually end up in the postseason. If Texas loses to Georgia, beats Arkansas, and loses to A&M, then obviously they're not going to go to the playoffs. I think they've got to win at least 2 of the next 3 to have a chance. They've got to, if they win out, then they're going to be in. But one of the things that I talked about quite a bit after the Vanderbilt game was the way Sark was calling plays for Arch Manning, and just quick passes, decisive. ESPN did a great breakdown of what they did against Vanderbilt. And what I find interesting is the breakdown. Manning completed 11 passes at or behind the line of scrimmage, and Texas gained 172 yards on those pass plays. So, again, you've got an explosive offense. Get your guys with speed, the ball in space, block them up, and good things are going to happen. And when I think about Texas's run game, or lack thereof, and what the Bulldogs do extremely well, which is stop the run, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of those passes on Saturday night in Athens that are right at the line of scrimmage. And really, while it all goes down as passing yards, a lot of coaches look at that as an extension of the run game. And you could look at it that way. While it is passing yards, when you're not going downfield and you're throwing right at the line of scrimmage or even behind the line of scrimmage, really, it is an extension of the run game. And honestly, that might be the only way Texas is able to move the ball offensively against Georgia. I don't think they're going to have a lot of success trying to run between the tackles. That's just not where they are. And obviously, passing, if Arch is sharp, and that's the thing with Arch Manning, you have seen him get better as the season has gone along, but it has been a bit of a roller coaster. But man, against Vanderbilt, especially in the first 3 quarters, if you can get that Arch Manning Saturday night in Austin, the Longhorns do have a chance to go win at a place that very few teams actually go and win. And obviously they can't turn the ball over. But if you can go with that short, crisp passing game, and then obviously when they start to press on that, you hit one of those passes over the top. And, Arch can throw the deep ball, especially if he's got time, rolling pocket. This might be a game where he has to use his athleticism as well. But I didn't realize the numbers were what they were. I mean, just watching the game, seeing what they were doing, I like the way Sark called that game. But when you get 11 completions at or behind the line of scrimmage and you turn that into 172 yards, that tells me you were blocking it up extremely well. And I do think that is going to be one of the big keys for Texas in this game tomorrow night. And nothing wrong with that. Efficient when you look at it. And Manning was efficient against Vanderbilt. 25 of 33 for 328 yards and 3 touchdowns. And not one pass thrown more than 17 yards downfield. And if that's what Texas needs to do, and I know that, all of us sit there and watch football and we see those pass plays that go for none yards, lose yards, get 3, but then you pop one for 50. When you play it and execute it perfectly and the defense makes the mental mistake, you can pop those for big plays, and that's what you're seeing. That's why coaches do it. And when it works, it's beautiful. When it doesn't work, we're in our living room screaming, what the hell was that? I get it. That's the way it works. But that, to me, will be a key in what Texas is able to do. You go back to how they beat Oklahoma. And again, that was a blowout. Their one really convincing blowout of the year was against the Sooners. I just look at that and think, all right, if they're going to go into Athens, that's the kind of Arch Manning passing game that can go in and beat the Bulldogs. And defensively, you look at Stockton, he's going to try to do some of the similar things. I know it. Georgia's favored by 5.5. Look at the over/under on that. I don't know if this is going to be a great defensive battle or not, but it's probably going to be in the mid-20s. And, as cliche as it sounds, who makes the mistake? You go back to that playoff game, it was Texas. They made the mistakes, and Georgia capitalized on it. And I don't see this being like the game that we saw last year in Austin, where Georgia just dominated and Sark just looked petrified. I don't think we'll see that. Oklahoma, Alabama, same kind of boat, right? I mean, Oklahoma keeping their playoff hopes alive. They kind of got to win out. Can they go on the road at Alabama and get a win? And the other, kind of big game, although that Notre Dame Pitt game, I'd love to see Pitt win that game, because in reality, you look at Notre Dame's schedule, this is their last test. Game day is going to be there, although I'm curious if game day is there more for Pat McAfee going home than the matchup of Notre Dame against Pitt. It looks like everybody in the world is taking Notre Dame to roll. Ole Miss, Florida could be entertaining. And I just want to see, with all the rumors about Lane Kiffin in Florida, does he show his potential future new boss what he can do and score 70 on those guys? Or because he might end up working there, does he take it easy on them? I could see that game, but I do expect Ole Miss to roll in that game. I did say Athens, right? Games in Athens. I did mention last year's game in Austin. Will Stanford on YouTube saying that Athens, not Austin. I think I referred to last year's game in Austin. This game in Athens. I know where it's at. When it says Texas at Georgia, that means they're on the road. And if I misspoke, I misspoke. They're going to be playing in a city that begins with the letter A.
Austin.
Athens. I'll be down in Georgia, between the hedges.
Austin, Massachusetts.
Yeah, something like that. I just look at it, and I know I'm going to have barbecue at the house. Couple of friends over. Pledge, get there by halftime. It's just I think this has one of those non-blowout written all over it. It better be. Because I might kick everybody out if it's ugly, or I'll just be in the backyard. One of the two. Aggies, breakfast tacos with Monaco tomorrow. They've got a game against South Carolina that this has trap game written all over it. A&M's got to be focused. We'll talk about it with the voice of the Aggies. Andrew Monaco joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Dallas Cowboys fans, come on down!
It's AJ and Rob from the Morning Huddle, and you could be the next contestant on
The Stat Is Right.
Every week leading up to the week of the Cowboys home game, AJ and Rob toss out a Cowboys player and a stat from the upcoming home game. Passing yards, rushing yards, number of times Dak adjusts his wristband mid-play, or perhaps CeeDee Lamb mouthguard chews per quarter. Whatever. All you have to do is predict that stat, get the closest, and bam! You're headed to Jerry World with a pair of tickets to the next Cowboys home game. Think of it like The Price is Right, but instead of winning a blender, you get to scream, "How about them Cowboys?" inside AT&T Stadium. So study up, Cowboy Nation, and listen to the Morning Huddle to play. The Stat Is Right, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
We have a you just lost a listener email.
Oh,
The
no.
comments are, what the F is your show? Your snickering minions and yourself are terrible at comedy. Whatever you people get paid to do this is too much.
You just lost a listener.
Sounds like the same PD we lost about 5 weeks ago.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1783. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575-1783. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday morning at 11, the Aggies take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Presented by Just Pots. Pre-game at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
to be Breakfast with Monaco tomorrow. Aggies finally playing a home game, A&M in South Carolina tomorrow. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Joe Reinagel, he's off today. Football season, wedding weekend for him. I'm Jason Minix. Let's talk to the voice of the Aggies, the velvety voice, Andrew Monaco, joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Have your breakfast taco fixins ready to go for tomorrow morning, Andrew?
Yeah. I'm going to go. Let's go with a brisket, scrambled egg and cheese, and the largest coffee that I could possibly find.
How
about that?
Now, all right. Now let's go inside the booth here because
yeah.
You know, a lot of people always like to know like interesting things that you do. You go with a large coffee.
Before I drink coffee during games, coffee or water. I can't drink soda during games. It scares the heck out of me that there's going to be a burp out of nowhere. Right?
Uh-huh.
When you least expect, you know what I'm talking about because you're there, buddy. You know.
Well, exactly. Now, granted, I can't drink sodas anymore. But even when I was doing games, never a soda. You can't have popcorn either.
No, absolutely not.
The Friday night Frito pie for me is dangerous, but I have I have those early enough to where I know I'm going to be okay. But
gotcha.
but coffee to me just seems scary as hell when you think about the especially a large coffee, because unless you got a bathroom in the booth, man, you're SOL.
Yeah. That's when I had so much respect for Brad Sham and Babe Laufenberg they've got the bathroom in their booth in Arlington. And I'm like, man, that's when you know you've made it. If not, it better be really close. Like I'm telling you, last week in Missouri, I had to watch the liquid intakes because they gave us a brand new booth. We were at the very end, and boy, there was a couple of swinging doors and a whole bunch of doors to booths. And they never put enough facilities that you need in that. So I was like, I might have to watch the liquid intake during this one, or you got to get there and back as quickly as you can at halftime.
Well, and that's it. But then also, I mean, like here at the high school stadium I'm at, there's one. And there's one. And so, I mean, even if you try to time it, it doesn't always work out. It's there. That's, what I think was most impressive about that World Series game that went, 18 innings? Dude said he didn't go once. How?
I don't. Jason, when I saw that, I was surprised. I'm like, Joe Davis, did you just not drink it? And you know what? Like, in the bigger the game, you kind of get caught up and you are drinking more. Can I make sure the mouth doesn't go dry and things like that? Yeah, I was surprised, unless he was so keyed up, Jason, that afterwards is when, it was a tsunami afterwards.
Andrew Monaco, voice of the Aggies here on the Blitz. That's a great line. Tsunami afterwards. Before we get into the game tomorrow, because obviously Texas has Georgia tomorrow night. And an interesting stat that I've had, Pledge sent it to me and like 3 or 4 other people, the number of times Texas is now going to have played Georgia, and yet A&M has had one game against the Georgia Bulldogs all this time in the SEC. Can you explain the scheduling on just the quirk in that, the fact that it's been that many years now in only one meeting?
Yeah, and the other one that stands out, Jason, is we have played Kentucky once. We've never played in Lexington for football. And if it were not for COVID, we hadn't been on the road at Tennessee. And yet I think Tennessee had come to Kyle twice. And honestly, before Texas and Oklahoma came in, there was talk of the pod system. And what the conference wanted to do was make sure if you play 4 years, you're going to get a chance to play everybody in the conference. So got rid of the divisions and then said, okay, you're going to have your 3 rivals, for lack of a better phrase, and then they would rotate the rest of the conference. You would either you're going to play them, maybe not at home, but you're going to play everybody because of those quirks, and then try to keep some of the rivalries LSU, Florida, even though they were in separate divisions at one time. When they added Texas and Oklahoma, they decided to go with one schedule, and then you just flopped in the conference that you were then going to go on the road if you had them at home. Georgia fell on Texas's schedule. Now, here's where it's different. When A&M came in, there was still an SEC West and an SEC East, and you tried to rotate through the East opponents. So you had 7 games against the West, and then it would rotate. 6 teams against the West, and you would have 3 different teams in the East. Well, one of our teams in the East was South Carolina. So you weren't playing those Eastern teams as much. But what was weird, Jason, is like, we kept playing Florida, and it didn't play Georgia until 2019 there at Sanford Stadium. And there really was no return date for when Georgia was coming in. So it interrupted this year, and Texas got, they get Georgia twice, but I don't think they've had Alabama. They've had Oklahoma because you want to keep that. And they've had Arkansas, which has been good, but they're not getting everybody either. It's kind of imperfect with the 16, but now beginning next year, it's going to be more of every 4 years, you're going to play your 3 rivals for A&M, Texas, LSU, Missouri, rotate throughout. And then 4 years after that, they will kind of redo, take a look at it, see if you can do it. But it's going to be a little more, I hate to use the word balance because there's not balance, but it'll be a little more fair, and you'll see more of those teams in the conferences going forward.
Yeah, maybe equitable. But yeah, it is just kind of odd. And I kind of knew the answer, but I wasn't going to be able to explain it as eloquently as you just did. But I can't wait for the time Georgia actually comes to Kyle, because that would be, just another one of those. Holy cow! Let's go. Now you've got South Carolina tomorrow. It's got trap game written all over it. There's a trophy at stake. It's one of those weird trophy games, kind of the manufactured rivalry games. And granted, I mean, think about what happened a year ago, and even Mike Elko this week on the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ said, they're a 3-win team, but look at who they've played and, put them in another conference, and they're probably a top 15 team. And I'm thinking, okay, is he trying to make a soft bet if things don't go well, or is South Carolina really that good as he was studying the film, or a combination of both?
I think Lenora Sellers is the type of quarterback that makes a defensive coordinator stay up at night. And he used the word earlier in this week, and he's used it at practice this week. South Carolina embarrassed Texas A&M last year. So this is all I could think about was going to Missouri this year after what A&M did to them last year. Here at Kyle, they came in number 9, 41-7 later. So they've been waiting. And that was one of 8 home games for Missouri. And it really was a playoff game for them. Like, I understand what Mike was saying, and even Eli Drinkwitz. If Missouri won out, they would be in consideration. And I give the Aggies a ton of credit. Back on the road, handle their business. Now it's a 180. Now this is the Aggie team that has revenge on its mind, but that's not going to just do it. You still have to tackle Lenora Sellers. You know what I mean? You still got to block Dylan Stewart on the end. You can't turn it over. This is a team that has 9 interceptions. You've got to. I don't know if this team was ready, if they had learned how to win and learn how to manage. Because Mike was saying, look, after beating LSU last year, you kind of figure, we've got it all figured out. Well, they didn't. And again, he used embarrassed. He said, look, I use different words in the locker room, but that's the one that I'm going to use publicly. So, I mean, Jason, here's the other thing. This is why all these guys have come back. Now, they put themselves in this position. There was no guarantee. But they talked about how November left a very bad taste in their mouth. Part of that was going into Columbia, South Carolina, and walking away with that defeat. And that started a little bit of that spiral. Now you have a chance to do something about it. Here's your opportunity. And that's what is A&M's favor. But Jason, if they don't tackle Lenora Sellers and he, converts a 3rd and 12 with his feet and they don't contain him, guess what? You're gonna fall into the same thing. I mean, they do have the talent. They have played really close. Their offense isn't what it was last year. I don't know how you replicate a 6'5" wide receiver, but that's what they have in Nick Harbor. And I really think what A&M has done well in a lot of their conference victories is they've taken that main target away. Kevin Coleman led the conference with 51 catches. He had 1 on a little shovel pass for 0 yards. They took Cam Coleman away from Auburn. They're going to need to do that and limit Nick Harbor if they possibly can. If they play to their identity, they give themselves that opportunity. But there is a talent sprinkled throughout there. And look, South Carolina's not going to. What's the number 3 team in the country when you played nothing but top-ranked teams throughout the year? So that's not going to spook them for sure. But I like that this team is back home after a month. I'm sure they're going to get some juice off that and get a chance to get a measure of revenge, if you will, for last year.
Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, back home after a month, and it's an 11 a.m. kickoff. And I know Aggie fans are going to be there. It's going to be packed, but they're not going to have the hours and hours and hours of tailgating, although they might start at midnight and not stop. But playing so early, what's the impact there as you've talked to the coaches and the players? And because we all know the difference between an 11 a.m. kickoff at places like Kyle Field versus a evening kickoff when it's dark outside.
Yeah, I always feel that way, whether it's LSU, Jason, or whether it's honestly, and I truly believe this, Williams-Brice in South Carolina is a different place at night than it is during the day. Now, the only recent that I can say is last year against Missouri, where everybody was worried, and that ended up being an outstanding crowd. And Mike has told his group, this is your last SEC home game for the ones who are, if this is going to be their last season. This is the last time that you get to play an SEC team in front of the 12th man. So there is that. Is there a difference? Yeah. Here comes the but. I think being away for that month has really the intensity for this, and trying to find a ticket becomes tough. And I think that success while being away has really upped the energy for tomorrow afternoon. I'm with you though. 11 is very different from 7. This was in this window when the SEC put the schedule out originally. It would have been nice to move it a little bit later, but this is how it is. But I really think this place will end up being rocking as a combination of, hey, welcome home, and can you continue this special season that you're on?
Any update on Le'Veon Moss?
Le'Veon, I think it's going to still be a little while. I don't see him going tomorrow. I think they are targeting Texas for the end. And I know that Mike has said, if they're fortunate enough to be in a postseason, he will go, not going to be rushed. And I think because of the way this running back room has been, this stable has been, you get to be extra cautious with Le'Veon Moss.
Well, and again, and that makes sense. And, I look at this guy. I mean, the line is crazy. A&M should win. Does kind of have a little bit of trap game feel to it, but the way this Aggie team has played all year inconsistently, and I know Mike doesn't like to talk about battered Aggie syndrome. That's not us. That's not part of our culture, but it is there when you talk to your Aggie friends. And, very few except Rob Thompson the other day did kind of have his chest out a little bit and like, look, we should be number 1 instead of number 3 and all that. And that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. What does he say when he's doing his public media or when you've been around him, hearing him talk to the team about, to steal a line from Nick Saban, the rat poison kind of stuff?
Rat poison?
This could be a trap game.
Yeah. I have to chuckle because it seems like it's been nothing but trap games, right? And for good reason, for absolute good reason. I totally understand it. Arkansas changes coaches. They've got Bobby Petrino, his first game at home. I get all that. LSU, right? Trying to save it. I get all of that. And this is it. So he emphasizes to them that South Carolina wants to take everything that you've worked for away. That's what South Carolina is in for. This makes their season. Everything that you've worked for, every rep in the offseason, every sled that you've pushed, every time that you didn't want to do that work, but you did, this is why you did it. And that team over there wants to take it away. And this is all I could think in that Arkansas game, Jason, was for that final 3.5 minutes of that first half, that 3.5 minutes almost derailed the season. They let Arkansas back in the game. Then they turned it around and they scored in that second half. Arkansas couldn't stop them offensively, and Aggies made just enough stops to win that game. I felt the same way against LSU along the lines of, man, that's a terrible second quarter, but you're only down 4. Then I think there's that confidence. But I think they understand that, okay, with that offensive line, if that defensive line, if they can win these lines of scrimmage, that allows Reuben Owens to run wild. It allows E.J. Smith to do what he's doing. It allows Marcel Reed the time. Like Mike said, we've got to keep Marcel clean. These ends are probably as good as up to this part of the season. Look, we haven't played Texas yet. When we play Texas, I'm going to change everything and say, you know what, that's going to be the difference. But these ends in Dylan Stewart and Brian Thomas are real good. Now, is the interior as good as last week against Missouri? I don't think so. I love Missouri's front four. I didn't like their back seven. I love these two ends as a football fan. And that South Carolina could keep Dylan Stewart, because I know there are a lot of schools that were coming after him. Whether I should say that out loud or not, I don't know. But you know what it's like if you have a great freshman season, and there are some schools that will put some money at you. But he's the real deal. So it's those matchups within the matchups. But everything that you've worked for, you're going to keep going after it. Or are you going to let South Carolina take it away from you? Remember that feeling from a year ago when you were on the verge, right? You were on the verge of capturing and getting a chance to go to Atlanta. You put yourself back in that position. Don't let this opportunity go by.
Well, and I'll tell you, we met that Dylan Stewart on Radio Row last year in New Orleans, and he is a big dude. And, we talked to him a little bit about NIL, and, he said all the right things that you would expect him to say. But the fact that he stayed, what he told us was true, that he liked it there. And I wonder after another year like he's had, does that change? Because, they're going to continue to come after him. But he can be a game wrecker. That's certainly going to be a key. But I also look at Marcel Reed, who, continues what he's doing for a guy. I admit, I was hoping that A&M would go find a different quarterback. This guy has a couple more good games, and he, probably will be in New York as a Heisman finalist. And a game like tomorrow could certainly help that case.
Yeah. And to play off that, I thought, again, because South Carolina had the year they had last year, I really liked their defense last year. And I thought that was a big reason for that, as well as Sellers. Please don't get me wrong, and
sure.
And their running backs. But I'm with you with Marcel. And look, with team accomplishments come individual individual awards as well, right? Would we be talking about Marcel like this, same numbers but not the same record? And that's been the good thing, you know what I mean? And he's it contributes to everything. And if he doesn't have the receivers he doesn't have the numbers. And if he doesn't have the running game, but he has deserved this because he has made himself into this quarterback. He's done all of this. He's not the same kid who stepped on campus. I don't think he's the same kid who ended last year after USC in the Las Vegas Bowl. He put in all this work, and I would love to see that kind of individual award. I love to see Cassius Howe on the list that he is, and Casey Concepcion on the lists that he is, and this offensive line, possibility of semifinalists for the Joe Moore Award. Like, yeah, you should get those accomplishments. But because you're 9-0, you know what I mean? Like that's the driver there. And you put yourself in this position. And with that number getting smaller, the target gets bigger. And then I think that makes the accomplishments even more impressive. Teams are trying to take Casey Concepcion away. They're trying to take Mario Craver away. Totally get that. And yet they haven't been able to. I think that speaks to the talent that is here. I think it speaks to what A&M did in this offseason, upgrading, not saying, hey, we'll be okay. Going out and upgrading all of that and giving Marcel those pieces because this team has that joy for one another. Marcel goes to New York, that entire team is going to celebrate that he's going to be, in that list. But as long as they keep winning, he's going to get that individual accolade for sure. But he knows it's absolutely a team thing. And he absolutely is the reason why this team is playing with a lot of confidence on offense, which is really nice to see.
It really is. It should be an entertaining game tomorrow morning. Pre-game at 10, kick at 11 here on 94.1, brought to you by Just Pots with the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco. Enjoy that coffee tomorrow. Just not too much of it, my friend.
You got it, my friend. Words of wisdom right there.
Good stuff. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. Coming up in about 35 minutes or so, we're going to visit with NBA champ, UTSA Roadrunner legend Devin Brown. Talk to him about tonight's big Spurs-Warriors game. Coming up here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville. Your home for the NFL.
It's a little quiet on the border these days. Illegal border crossings at an all-time low because Donald Trump and Senator John Cornyn have been fighting side by side to seal the border. Cornyn has led the charge in the Senate, funding more agents, more technology, and more miles of secure border wall, beating back Biden's border failures, taking the fight directly to the cartels. Cornyn stands with President Trump, voting with him 99% of the time, supporting Trump's nominees, confirming conservative judges who defend our Constitution, and together, Trump and Cornyn put America first. They've worked to keep our families safe and our border defended. Yep, it's quieter on the border now because real leadership gets results. Call and thank Senator John Cornyn, 713-572-3337, and tell him to keep delivering Trump's agenda. Paid for by Lone Star Freedom Project, LoneStarFreedomProject.com.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You know, I make decisions every day, but the easiest ones I've been making for the last several weeks are Dak Prescott. The more Dak is riding the wave, and I've been with him on Prize Picks, and being right can get you paid, especially when you're doing it on the weekly. Prize Picks has everything you need to have some fun on all your favorite games. If you like winning, you like to know what you're doing, Prize Picks is your answer because you can do the research and you can go out and win. And it's so simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players and you can get up to 2,000x on your money if you pick right. Now, they offer stacks is what I love. And you can pick the same player in up to 3 different venues and play them in the same lineup. And you can only find this at Prize Picks. That's why I go there every day. You want to know another reason? Alamo. Remember the code Alamo and you get $50 in lineups if you play your first $5 lineup. That's Alamo. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 in lineups. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. On game day, great prep makes all the difference. Same goes for your pizza. That's why I go with Frigidaire Stone-Baked Pizza Oven. Fresh pizzas go from dough to done in just 2 minutes.
Whether you're throwing a party or squeezing in dinner between plays, this oven delivers hot, crispy, restaurant-quality pizza right from your kitchen. Only from Frigidaire. Game-ready pizza. Get it today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit Tremfya.com.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only 100% night harvested agave. And you might be saying, well, why do I care when it's harvested? It allows the agave to be harvested while it's resting and out of the brutal heat. Benefits to workers who would normally work into the heat of the day. It's just better for the flavoring. And speaking of flavoring, it's 100% additive free. No flavoring, sweetening, or coloring added, and it's unfiltered. Live your life unfiltered and do it with Blue Star Tequila. Find Blue Star Tequila at Alamo City Liquors, Costco, Specs, and Total Wine.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the Spurs look to bounce back from their loss on Wednesday to Golden State as they'll meet them again tonight in the Frost Bank Center, but this time it's an Emirates Cup Group Play game. Tip-off is set for 8:30 and will be televised on Amazon Prime. In the NFL, the Texans will be without quarterback C.J. Stroud again this week as he's still experiencing concussion symptoms. Davis Mills gets the start when they take on the Titans Sunday at noon. It's playoff time in high school football, and our high school football game of the week is a bi-district round matchup between Brandeis and Sotomayor. It all starts at 7 with the pregame tonight.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is a football Friday here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagel off today. He's got a wedding this weekend, one of those lovely football season weddings. Rehearsal dinner tonight, and his stepdaughter getting married tomorrow. And he thinks he's going to watch a lot of football tomorrow, but I think we all know better. I mean, he might have all the intentions in the world, and yeah, I've got nothing to do in this wedding, and yada. Yeah, the honey-do list is going to be long tomorrow because I mean, look, we've all been there. You can think you're not going to do anything, but you know ultimately what's going to happen. Glad to have you along on this Friday. We're over at Ferris Stadium, our Quarter Moon Plumbing High School game of the week, energized by Hill Electric. Will be Sotomayor against Brandeis. First round of the playoffs by district round. Great rematch of a regular season non-district game in which went to triple overtime. Gotta love that. Expecting a good one tonight. Pregame at 7. Kickoff is at 7:30 here at Ferris. I know you might see some places that have kickoff listed at 7. It's not. Kickoff is at 7:30. With playoff times, I get it. You never know. But it is a 7:30 kickoff here tonight. On our YouTube page over on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel, a couple of Aggies in there offended by the battered Aggie syndrome because they say they don't have it. And they might be the only Aggies I know that don't have battered Aggie syndrome. I find it fascinating that, and now I'm a Longhorn fan. I think people know that. But I do root for the Aggies unless they're playing UT. I'm not one of those Texas types that hope bad things happen to Aggies. And last weekend I was with a group of mainly Aggies, and I've got a lot of friends that are Aggies. And I see Art and I see Alexandra and some others on our YouTube saying, "No, we don't have it. What are you talking about?" Honestly, it's what I'm hearing from my friends. They are overly cautious and not acting like arrogant Longhorn fan would be if they were number 3. All right. I mean, it's a difference. The only thing that I didn't like was Texas being a preseason number 1. Kiss of death should never have happened, and they haven't played like it. But Aggie fans are waiting for that other shoe to drop. And this year's team, I don't see it happening. But I know enough Aggies that I can confidently say, Alexandra, despite what you might think, and right there on the YouTube page, and you too, Art, that there is a humbleness that they, like, you tell me the stove is hot, I'm going to believe you. I'm not going to touch the stove to find out. And I find it fascinating because A&M is having one of those incredible seasons. And I can see A&M winning out and going into the playoffs undefeated. This A&M team, they look like they could play for a national championship. Now, I look at Ohio State, I look at Indiana. It will be interesting to see how the brackets work to see who likely A&M would play in a national championship game, which would be fascinating. But right now, this Longhorn fan, I think they got a chance. I honestly do. They have the look of a team that is just complete. I love what I'm seeing out of Texas A&M. All 3 phases. And I like the fact that they've been in some of these games where, like Notre Dame, like Arkansas a couple of weeks, where they found a way to win. Indiana had that last week against Penn State. That kid had his Heisman drive, his Heisman moment, and they were able to get that win. I like teams that get tested like that. They get some of that adversity. So we're in those situations. They've been there before, and they know they can pull it off. That Arkansas game might have been the best thing that happened to them because, quite frankly, if you're being honest with yourself, that's a game last year they lose. Teams have to go through that. And, it's fascinating when you look at and try to break down this, that, and the other. And Marcel Reed, I was not a believer in Marcel Reed. He has turned into one hell of a quarterback, and he's got a lot of great weapons around him. And I tell you what, while Reed is the guy, what Mike Elko has done there, completely changing that culture in a short amount of time, is exactly what A&M was hoping when they hired him. And the fact that he was there as a defensive coordinator, what he did at Duke, and for him to come back and get these results, those relationships were there. And I think there was a lot of confidence with Aggie fans and obviously the administration that he could do exactly what he is doing. And there are coaches out there that are program builders, but can you win the big games? And Mike Elko hasn't been a head coach long enough to have that answered yet, but it certainly looks like he is that kind of coach, where, bad example because he got fired, but James Franklin was always known as a great program builder, couldn't win the big game. Mike Elko is winning big games. That win at Notre Dame is proof of it. His teams don't panic. They don't panic in the moment. Love that. Love what I'm seeing out of them. And Art, he says he's going to be up early with a cigar and his drink, and he's going to yell at the TV. Love it. That's what it's going to be. I know tomorrow for me, get up early. I was over at the meat market earlier, got a couple of slabs of ribs, got a tri-tip, go on the smoker, get ready to go. Can't wait. Probably do some deer sausage from that Axis sausage, figure out what else Pledge wants to not eat, and we'll go from there. Be a good day tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to all the non-leftovers.
Yeah, there will. Yeah, Pledge by the. I'm telling you, party will go at 9:00. With a college game, an NFL game happening in Spain. We're on Spain time tomorrow when it comes to barbecue. Dinner will be ready at 9 p.m.
Got it. I'll be there just in time for the fourth quarter. Maybe a game-winning drive by Texas.
Well, see, here's what you have to do, James, because we will have not only the Aggie game at 11 a.m. here on San Antonio Sports Star, we will have the Texas-Georgia game on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And your boss probably forgot to tell you this, but you got to listen to it to make sure everything is running smoothly. And once it gets into the second half, then you could probably say it's clear sailing from there, and then you can come over.
Okay.
All right.
That tracks.
Does it? Not really?
I mean, you never know what can go wrong with some of these games. There might be a rain delay.
See, now you just jinxed yourself because now you will end up having to work tomorrow. What is the forecast in Athens? We'll find that out. It's going to be interesting. Spurs Warriors tonight. Devin Brown will join us coming up at 4:35. Cowboys, they don't play until Monday night. Jerry Jones said today that game will be therapeutic for his football team. Let's dive into that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It is a Friday. Everybody has your weekend plans. I'm guessing none of you plan on getting arrested, but some of you will because it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you know you want to get out of jail fast, and the best way to do that? Call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas. Services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, Monday night at 7:15 p.m. After a bye week, the Cowboys are center stage on Monday Night Football for the second time this month. This time in Sin City, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Pre-game at 6. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, the Davis Law Firm, Hornitos Tequila, Connecticut, and Jim Beam. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form, and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, get ready to kick off the holidays tailgate style alongside your four-legged MVP. Join us at Blue Bonnet Bunkin' Biscuit in Selma on Wednesday, November the 19th from 9 to 6 p.m. for the annual holiday kickoff tailgate. They'll have great food, local vendors, music, giveaways, and fun for the entire family, including the furry ones. It's your chance to celebrate the season with the best fans in Texas, pet lovers and sports lovers alike. It's all going down at Blue Bonnet Bunkin' Biscuit in Selma on Wednesday, November the 19th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know, our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
This holiday season, Target has your back with irresistibly cool gifts for everyone on your list. For the trendsetter, start with affordable beauty kits and gift sets. Need something the whole fam will love? Grab snuggly matching fits in every size and style. And for the thrill seekers, don't forget the hottest toys and tech of the season. Target's got you covered with the best deals for endless fun. Shop in store or online. And step into the holidays with Target. Restrictions apply.
Awesome Tickets is your personal ticket broker. Big games, big concerts, big events. Need tickets? Stay local and call Awesome Tickets. Stop paying all those crazy fees on ticket apps. Awesome Tickets has your tickets for all the sports, concerts, any city, any event. Avoid the ticket app fees. Since 1994, Awesome Tickets is local and veteran-owned. You deserve Awesome Tickets. Call 210-226-5136 or online at awesometix.com. That's awesometix.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, it's game day for Dallas, and we had a lot of football to talk about.
Spurs had 2 games over the weekend, and oh yeah, A&M in Texas, a lot to get into. You better set your alarm. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle off today. I'm Jason Minix. Next Wednesday, both the Morning Huddle and the Blitz are going to be broadcasting live over at Blue Bonnet Bunk and Biscuit. They're in shirts. It's going to be a day for the dogs, man. Bring your four-legged friends out. Enjoy all kinds of festivities. Both shows will be live. The Morning Huddle from 6 to 10 a.m. Of course, the Blitz from 2 to 6 next Wednesday. Having all kinds of stuff going on out there. It's not often they let Rob and AJ out. Pledge still is not allowed out, but come hang out with us tomorrow in shirts at Blue Bonnet Bunk and Biscuit. Bring your dogs. It's going to be a fun time. Pledge, we got some tickets to give away for Black Label Society with Zach Sabbath and Dark Chapel. February 27th at the Boeing Center at Techport. Let's give those to caller number 5 right now. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller number 5, you're going to win a pair of tickets to see Black Label Society with Zach Sabbath and Dark Chapel. Again, February 27th at the Boeing Center at Techport. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Going to be a fun show out there at the Boeing Center at Techport. Another Sunday where the Cowboys aren't going to play, third week in a row. And look, with Thanksgiving and then more Thursday games, I mean, you know, Cowboys playing on Monday night. Of course, you can listen to it here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Cowboys and the Raiders in Las Vegas. The game is needed and so much more for these guys, the Cowboy players, than anything else. You know, Jerry Jones said today on the radio that in a lot of ways, this game is therapeutic for his team.
Well, I think it was therapeutic. It gives you you're fortunate in that you've got that to dwell on. That's your play. I'll never forget when I was a junior, John Kennedy got killed, and we played a game on Saturday, and I think his assassination occurred there Wednesday or Thursday. But I'll never forget, you had, of course, protesters saying we shouldn't be playing the game. And that was at Arkansas we were playing. And different schools did it different ways. But I know just that early, which wasn't, you'd say, the same circumstances, but just that early, it really caused you to get your mind on away from the tragedy.
And to for a lot of those guys, I mean, he's right. Jerry this morning on 105.3, The Fan in Dallas, because, you know, your escape. And I know a lot of people are this way. I am this way. Just let me go to work. Let me do something. When you're alone and when you're not doing anything, that's when it's tough, because that's what you're thinking about. And you know, Brian Schottenheimer said this morning on the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ that, you know, there's got to be a balance too when you take the field on a Monday night against the Raiders.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you asking, number one, and you know, we certainly, we're not ready to get the tragic news of Marshawn passing, and it's been a process. It's been a kind of a one day at a time deal where you just try to, okay, you know, sun's going to come up tomorrow. What's it look like? And I've told the team through, you know, all the people that we've talked to, you know, we don't move on, but we do move forward. And so yesterday was a big step for us because, you know, we were kind of back into, you know, meetings and game planning and practicing. And, you know, I just want to, you know, shout out our players and, just their strength, their inner strength and their support for one another has been incredible. Practice yesterday, I thought was very good. The energy was very good. And let's be honest, guys, the best way for us to honor Marshawn is the way we play on the field and win games. We're certainly going to, you know, do our part to, take care of Catalina, his girlfriend, and Marshawn's family. And that's a big part of what, you know, our guys that matters to them, as it should. But the honoring of Marshawn will be with the way we play the game.
And again, a tough week. You know, Jerry did say when he was on 105.3, The Fan up in Dallas this morning, what it was like this week at the Star.
How did this happen? How in the world does this happen? And then, of course, those are the questions in these circumstances that are asked. He just had such really caring atmosphere around it. There's no question that he had things that from time to time were on his mind. You look back, you look at his personality, kind of the way he handled things, and you say, well, boy, that's probably a sign that it needed some extra attention. But it's just really, I would say, and I'm not expressing that for myself, really. I'm just saying my feeling is that everybody is just a little dumbfounded, much less the saw that's involved here, but everybody involved.
Well, and Jerry, he's right. I mean, obviously the sorrow, you're dumbfounded, because I imagine to a man in that locker room, there are guys that are wondering, did they miss a sign? And you can beat yourself up over that. Solomon Thomas was talking yesterday. And this is a long answer, but I encourage you to listen carefully to what Solomon Thomas said about dealing with what Marshawn Kneeland did, because Solomon Thomas, his sister, took her own life. And he said, yeah, everybody's going to say, did you see any signs?
No, I mean, Marshawn was in the building smiling every day. He was happy. He was listening to music. He was dancing all the time. But that's the thing with mental health and suicide. You just never know what someone's going through. Someone could be smiling. Someone could be dancing, laughing, having a great time, expressing all this joy. But inside, they could really be fighting a battle that you never know about. You don't know what the chemicals are telling them in their brain. You don't know the trauma from their childhood. You don't know everything they've been going through. And that's why it's so important to be kind. It's so important to ask people how they're doing. It's so important to tell people the resources around them and that therapy is okay as a man, therapy is okay as a woman. Like, these are these things that we need to go through, because you never know what battle someone's going through. And yeah, it's just, it's hard. It's tragic. It's, such a young life that should be here. And, this is why mental health is so important. So many people struggle with it around the world, and in our country, like on football teams and classrooms, ages, like if you look at the mental health statistics, they start at the age of 9. Like, kids are dying by 9 at the age to suicide. Like, we need, like, it's something our whole nation needs to take seriously. Like, get off social media believing everything is just like highlights. That's not life. Life is about the adversity, the hard times, the sad times, the depression, the sadness, the anxiety. Like, these are all feelings of the human experience. So we just have to let people feel human and be human. Like, it's like, that's what we have to do, because it's such a preventable death, and we're losing so many amazing people to it. People that should be here hugging their loved ones, spending birthdays with their loved ones, watching people get married, engaged. Like, it's such a preventable death. And we just need, as a nation, to come together, be kind, put more funding into mental health resources, help people get to therapy, let people know it's okay to cry, let people know it's okay to not always put a smile on and be good. Like, let people know you can be sad and happy and still have a good day. You can cry, laugh, scream, and that could still be a good day. Like, you don't always have to be good. It's okay not to be okay. These are things that everyone needs to know, because we're losing way too many people to this cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Solomon Thomas yesterday, and like I said, certainly the advice there, because everybody in that locker room, especially those that were very close to Marshawn Kneeland, are questioning whether or not they missed a sign. And, Solomon is coming from experience, having his sister take her own life, and the devastation that comes with that. He's got a foundation that is about suicide prevention, and so even I would imagine he's questioning, what did he miss? But you heard him say, you just don't know. And Ryan Eagle and I, very limited one-on-one experience with Marshawn Kneeland, but what you heard Solomon there describe, always smiling, fun dude, and he was that way at practice. If you watch games, you see the guys on the sideline, I mean, except for like when they're getting drilled, and losing badly, but typically a smile on his face. I think that probably is the biggest shocker, because you just felt like he had that zest for life, and to find out that his girlfriend is, pregnant and not very far along either. And the Cowboys and the players there will make sure she and that unborn child are taken care of. But I do think Jerry's right. Getting onto the field will be very therapeutic for that football team. I would imagine for everybody involved. And of course, they got to go out there and they got to play. They got to play well. The Raiders, certainly a winnable game, especially if the offense plays to the level we expect the offense to. And maybe the bye week will be good for Dak Prescott in the offense, because the last two games, their offense has not been good. Bottom line. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Spurs Warriors playing on this football Friday. It's a cup game. It means more. Devin Brown, former Spur NBA champ, UTSA Roadrunner great, will join us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Stars $50K Pro Football Pick'em giveaway is back. Head to USASportsStar.com and pick the winners of each pro football game every week to earn points for each correct pick. Highest points each week wins a $25 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Highest points overall scores $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Ticket. Pick the winning ticket of every regular season game. Win the grand prize, $50,000. This is an Audience National contest across multiple markets. The $50K Pro Football Giveaway. Register and win at SASportsStar.com.
I want to tell you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. I love talking about Stevens Roofing. Family-owned company, local company, a company that's been in the roofing business since 1983 here in San Antonio and South Texas. That should tell you everything you need to know about their reputation and the quality of work that they do. It is incredible. And Stevens Roofing has added solar now to its name. So if you've been thinking about solar panels on your house, Stevens Roofing and Solar is the name, and the number you need to remember is 210-785-0994. And now's the time to get that done. We've been talking about the great weather. So while it's nice, if you want those solar panels, call Stevens Roofing and Solar. Have them come out, give you an estimate, and make a plan on how you want to go about this thing. The other thing you ought to do is have your roof checked out. They'll do it for free. They'll send a team out there. They'll check your roof for free and let you know if there's any spots where you need to be concerned about, or if everything's okay. Either way, when that bad weather does come in, and it will eventually, you'll be ready, and your roof will be ready as well. Stevens Roofing and Solar. That number again is 210-785-0994, or you can visit them online at stevensroofing.net.
The Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. Football season is in full swing. Jason Minix here from the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. It's November. Games matter, and they all matter when you're playing on Underdog, and it's certainly more exciting. And playing on Underdog is easy. Best place to get in on all the action. Make your picks and win money right now in Texas. Just go higher or lower on predicted stats. Passing yards, receiving yards. With Dak and a CeeDee Lamb at George Pickens, I'm always looking at the hires there. You can even go with some defensive stats like sacks for a Micah Parsons. Get your picks right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Download the Underdog app today. Sign up with promo code STAR to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/lev/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Flight by Yuengling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, This is premium refreshment, 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
This college football season, the Crunch Time Hero of the Week is brought to you by PorkRinds.com, the nation's premier hub for pork rind lovers everywhere. Each week, a college player will post on Instagram, and each share over a 2-week period equals a $1 donation to the Archer Foundation, which helps families who are dealing with DIPG, DMG, pediatric brain cancer. Giving back with the perfect snack to celebrate those big Crunch Time plays. Find your rind at PorkRinds.com or find Southern Recipe Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Kinetico water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Kinetico of San Antonio and the Hill Country. 210-656-PURE.
Check them out at KineticoSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
License number 38961.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1783. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575-1783. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Davis Law Firm secures important verdicts and settlements for Texans hurt in a car, truck, or 18-wheeler wreck. Many in the millions of dollars. No case is too big or too small. And remember, there's no fee unless we win. So if you want more, call the Fours. Davis Law Firm San Antonio, 444-4444.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday morning at 11, the Aggies take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Presented by Just Ponce. Pre-game at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel off on this Friday. He's got to go to a football season wedding, which is a shame. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along. Well, it is a big night for high school football, the first round of the playoffs here in San Antonio. Also a big game down at the Frost Bank Center because it's one of them cup games. Spurs, Warriors playing tonight. Let's talk about it with our good friend Devin Brown, NBA champ, UTSA great, now hosting the Spurs podcast after every Spurs game on the Locked On Spurs YouTube channel. Devin Brown joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. How you liking this media thing, Devin?
Liking it very well. You know, a little bit different. The players treat you different, but I'll get over it.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're on this side, the players are going to treat you different. Although, you know, being a former player, you still at least have access to those guys.
Well, I have access to them, and I have the respect, so it works. It's all good right now.
Now, when I think about Devin, I mean, this team, expectations are higher than they have been in years because of the addition of De'Aaron Fox, although we only have a couple of games that he's been healthy. Through the first 10 games, what are your impressions? What are you liking and not liking about this year's Spurs team?
Well, here's the deal. It's like you said, it's a small sample size right now as far as, you know, his health. But once he gets back to 100%, you're going to see why the Spurs invested so much in him. You know, he's a great player, still young, still got a lot in the tank to go along with everything that the front office has done with, you know, the rest of the roster. And you know how San Antonio is, Jason. You've been here a long time, so there's a lot of excitement that goes along with following this basketball team. So when you get these quality players in here like that, of course, you know, the level of expectations is going to go way up. Everybody starts thinking about Tim and Dave and Tony and Manu. So it's a little bit of the bump in the road right now, but I think in the long run the team's going to be all right.
Well, and again, I think they've got a chance to be a legit playoff team. That means top six, not just play in. It is time for them to make the postseason. And you look at the way they have been playing, and granted, losing to Golden State the other night, and we'll get into that because there were some things there that kind of pissed me off with what was going on. But overall, I think it starts obviously with Wemby. His aggressive nature has been a game changer this year from what we've seen the last two.
Yeah, it seems like Wemby's, turned it on a notch, and he's starting to realize, and this comes with talking with guys like Tim and Dave, but what he's realizing is he's realizing how good he is, right? And so he's going out there and he's playing at a high level. Now we got to keep the turnovers down with him, but other than that, he's definitely playing at a high level. He's got Cat coming up there with him. And like I said, if a couple of the other pieces can come together, especially with a game like tonight, national television, things like that, in the long run, I think they're going to be okay.
Well, and again, in the long run, in another game with Fox and Wemby playing together, and I think having a true point guard will get Wemby the ball in the right position, and I think that is something that they sorely missed when De'Aaron wasn't playing. And I kind of always thought Fox was more of a shoot first, pass second kind of point guard, but in this offense, I don't know if he could be that way. How do you see with the small sample size the way those two are playing together?
Yeah, we've had lots of talks about this. So obviously with Castle playing the way he is, you got to let him continue to do his thing. Fox is, I've said it before. I don't know if he has a total grasp of the whole offense, but that just takes time, right? It took me, about a year or two to figure out, exactly where you can score from in the Spurs offense. And so, with him, he's such a dynamic player. You just got to, one of the things I mentioned on my show the other day was you want to get him in his spot. I just think that Coach Mitch needs to get him, a few more touches, get him into the game. And then once he gets going, he'll be able to get obviously Wemby. And you can kind of go from there.
Devin Brown joining us here on The Blitz. He hosts a Spurs podcast after every game, a post-game show on the Locked On Spurs network. So late tonight, you'll be able to tune in, and Devin Brown and Casey Vieira will be breaking down the game. I'm curious what the breakdown was like Wednesday night. They blew a 16-point lead in that game. And
yeah.
I mean, granted, it's Golden State. Steph did Steph things, but you blow a 16-point lead, you got questions that you got to answer.
Yeah, you do. And, some of the things that Casey and I had talked about were just the same thing, the second and third quarter. It seems like when the Spurs are having to go to that bench, it's some games you get it, some games you don't. It was one of those deals. Third quarter, you give up 43 points to the Warriors in the third quarter. That's not going to win you a whole lot of ball games. Steph hits a couple of free throws. Next thing you know, he's on fire. A couple of bank shots there in that third quarter got him going. Then he starts hitting threes, and it was lights out from there. But they just need to continue to play strong. Through that second and third quarter. And then, Jason, we won't see these lapses like we've seen.
Well, and let me ask you, because third quarters have been an issue. Obviously, I didn't play in the NBA. You did. What's going on in the locker room when you have a team that consistently comes out and plays poorly in the third quarter? And it's not just this Spurs team. You see it, throughout the league. Some teams are really good in third quarters, and some teams it just seems to always be an issue. What are you guys doing in there that would cause that?
Well, I made a joke about it on our show. I said, they're in there eating chicken tenders because that's what we used to do at the Frost Bake Center. But in all seriousness, it's one of those deals where you can talk about it, but, it seems like these teams are having a hard time, because you get that nice lather out there, when you're running, then you got to take it's about 15 to 20 minutes at halftime and things like that. And I'm not trying to use it as an excuse. I'm just trying to have people be aware. It takes a few minutes on your body to get yourself going again. Now, there's other things you can do now. They got treadmills and everything else back there. At least, when I was there, they had them. There's no reason for them to get rid of them. So, they just need to hit the weight room, do a little running, before they go back out there and get ready for, a game, because it seems like a lot of teams are jumping on us in the third quarter.
Well, maybe we need to send the chicken tenders over to their locker room. Now, you've opened up a can of worms. We gotta explore this for a moment, Devin.
Okay. Okay.
How many chicken tenders would you put down at halftime? And was it just your thing, or was the entire team eating chicken tenders? I mean, because you were on a championship team, so it was working for you.
I'm not gonna do that to my brothers. I'm not gonna do that to them. In this example that I gave, it was just me. And it's just you send one of the ball boys over to the media room and they grab a plate of food for you. That's all it is.
Well, if you were getting the food out of the media room, that food sucked. I mean, you should have sent the ball boy to the rich people lounge area. They have good food over there.
Well, here's the thing. So my first year, they were going over there to the media room to get it. And then, like you just said, now I didn't say that. Anybody listening from Prospect, I didn't say that. but what we started doing is Pop had, because we were playing a lot of primetime games, and so we had food like in a back area for us, and so a lot of times that food would be ready at halftime, and then that's where they started going to get it from.
All right. Just check. And it was just you, huh? You won't throw a teammate
it was
under
just
the bus?
No way. Not going to happen. That's one thing I learned about this media thing is I am not going to go that route yet. Yeah, you will. I mean, it's chicken tenders, and my goodness, if that got you a championship, keep doing it. But exactly,
I'm just thinking that's you go from there. But I mean, it is kind of weird that teams get into the funk. I was not thinking chicken tenders. I was wondering if that's coaching, because obviously Mitch got a lot of experience last year as the interim coach, but you can see some things that you could say, okay, this is Mitch's team. That's what I'm seeing. What does Devin Brown, former NBA player, see from the way Mitch Johnson is coaching that most people listening right now as a casual fan wouldn't notice?
Well, he's got a lot of similarities to what, Pop used to do. And it's funny because, people are always saying, well, he has his style and, this and that. So what I'm watching when I watch him is I'm watching the substitution pattern, who he's bringing in. I'm watching his plays. I'm watching how he's getting Wemby involved, how he's getting De'Aaron involved, what he's doing with Castle, things like that. And so with me, watching things like that, there's some similarities there, but also, when you're a young coach like he is, you want to put your stamp on things. And he's doing a good job of that. It's just defensively, I feel like the guys are a step behind right now. And that's where, I think Pop had more of a grasp on his teams, is because he was not going to allow for that. I mean, not allow for that at all. And so I think Mitch is understanding that. And I know he knows that, all that stuff. But it just seems like, it's taking a little bit too long sometimes for these guys to get to their rotations.
As you say that, how is that fixed, or why would it take so long for something like that to get fixed? Is it just recognizing what's happening in the moment, hearing the defensive play called out, the communication with the players on the floor, a combination of all? I mean, it seems like you're a step behind on something, you could easily fix that. Why is it not as easy as it sounds?
Well, because you're talking to
Did we lose Devin, Pledge? I think we lost Devin. Well, that was Greg Popovich stepping in there with the defensive play. Don't answer that question. Yeah. Just right as he there you are. Devin, are you there? We lost you for a moment. Yeah, we lost you for a moment. I thought that was CIA Pop coming in saying, don't give away trade secrets, my friend.
No. I got the kids with me, and we're walking through. This is the greatest thing because I'm walking through HEB right now doing this, and so I think I walked down a bad aisle or something, but it was a candy aisle, so maybe that was a good thing to get me out of there.
There you go. But you can always work your way back there.
Yeah, exactly. But no, go ahead and ask me that question again. I could barely hear you.
While it seems like an easy fix, why is it not an easy fix on the defensive rotations?
So what it is, and this is what I caution, the Spurs base about is, you're talking about two different ball clubs. So these guys have a lot of young players that it takes time to really get down that defensive system. Whereas when I was playing with San Antonio, we were a lot of veteran players, so you can pick things up a lot quicker, and you have no choice but to pick them up a lot quicker, right? So, with these guys, you got a lot of young players that are trying to establish themselves as, good to great players in this league. So defense is kind of like the last thing you're thinking about. These guys, nowadays, know what kind of money is out there. So making sure that you get your numbers is more of a concern than making sure I'm over there early, outside the paint trying to take a charge. It's two different things right now.
Yeah, very, very true. And again, with the dollars that are at stake and, obviously the Spurs team's got some weapons. They could try to outscore you every night, but you get games like we had Wednesday night with the free throw disparity at home. Golden State, the road team, almost doubled up the free throw attempts. When you were watching the game, I didn't see anything egregious, but that's Golden State being a veteran-savvy team, and Steph Curry in particular, getting himself to the line to get those free throws.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just, Steph Curry, we can go all day long talking about what it is that he brings to the game. And, one of the things he did was he was struggling with his jump shot, and every great player knows, well, let me see a couple go in. So he was able to get to the free throw line. Once he got to the free throw line, and then the two bank shots, like I had mentioned before in the third quarter, really got him going in the right direction. So, you want these guys to be aggressive and chase him off the screens. They have to be a lot smarter about it tonight. I know they probably watched a lot of film, so they'll be ready to go. And I think you'll see a different defensive mentality as far as tonight goes.
Now, that said, it's a cup game.
Yeah.
Do the players give a damn that it's a cup game?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Especially, well, it's San Antonio. If you're San Antonio, you need to because you're 1-0. You got beat up pretty good the other, a couple of nights ago. And so now you have an opportunity to get to 2-0. It's the NBA Cup game. If you're going to do anything, you might as well try and make some noise right now in this cup game tonight on national television. This is a great opportunity. Go ahead.
You say that, Deb. Now, I look at this. It's just a regular season game. They give you a special floor, and I'm still not sold on the in-season tournament. But what you're kind of saying, if there's a trophy to be had, go get it. Yeah. If there's extra money to be had, but we still make fun of the Lakers for hanging up a banner for the in-season tournament.
Well, I think you're making fun of the Lakers because it's the Lakers. The relationship between San Antonio and LA. I think if it was another team, I don't know if we're having the same conversation, but the thing about it is that there's and you said it at the beginning of the show. There's a lot of expectations on this basketball team, right? So you might as well just go and try and win the cup. You might as well, or at least have a decent showing.
Absolutely. I just didn't know if the players, especially this early on, how much you would care, or, is that something that they're talking about, that Mitch talks about, or is it just a Friday night November game, one of 82? No.
Okay, how about this? So let's say if we go back 2 or 3 years, right, you could say something like that, but the guy that's led the NBA the last 20 years, LeBron James, goes out there and, you know, plays every night, whatever it is that's the case, whenever they won that cup. Well, that should set a tone for the younger guys. If he can go out there and do that and sacrifice himself like that, then the rest of the league really can't sit here and say what you just said. It's a regular season this, regular season that. You know, you got the guy that's the NBA, you know, leader and everything, going out there and sacrifice. Now, remember, I'm talking about 2 years ago. I'm not talking about this stuff he's doing this year. You know, He's being a diva right now. He's sitting out and all that right now, but I'm talking about 2 years ago.
Devin Brown just called LeBron James a diva.
Listen, if you ever played with the guy, you know at one point, look, I played with him in Cleveland in 2008, and you knew at one point he was going to make his way to L.A. with all that acting he was doing. You already knew that was going to happen.
Absolutely. So you bring it up. What was he like as a teammate?
Oh, he's a great teammate. And a lot of people don't know this, but we share the same birthday, December 30th. Me, him, and Tiger Woods, all December 30th. But to get to your point, gets in there, you know, we'd have a 10 o'clock practice. He'd get in there about 6:37, shooting. You know, not a big entourage guy. You know, he didn't show up with, you know, 15 to 20 people with him. It was just him. He'd be in there shooting, working on his game, different parts of his game, things like that. As far as you know, some of the players like myself, we would bring you know, family members and stuff to the practice facility, and he'd go up to every one of them and shake their hand and, you know, hi, LeBron James, and, you know, just a great guy. You know, I know he gets, you know, a lot of stuff thrown his way, but he is just a tremendous person and even a better basketball player.
So LeBron and Tiger Woods throwing a big birthday party in Vegas. Are you invited since you share a birthday with those two?
If both of them are throwing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be golf and a lot of talking hoops, of course.
Yeah, you're going to be there. That's going to be awesome. Devin Brown, San Antonio Sports Hall of Famer, NBA champ, UTSA great. After this game tonight, after every game, the Spurs podcast, the post-game show on the Locked On Spurs Network, Devin Brown and Casey Vieira. So catch that tonight in every game. Devin, you're good at this media thing. I've been telling you a long time you got to do this. I'm glad you're finally doing it. So get back to the candy aisle, get your snacks, and eat those during the post-game show.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for shouting us out, and to all your wonderful fans for listening in. Always great being on your show. If you need me, you call me. You know that.
I got you, man. I got you. And, you know, we'll do it now that you're on this side of things, man. Appreciate it. Devin, we'll catch up soon. The great Devin Brown joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Good dude. I'm glad he's finally doing some media stuff. Should have started that a long time ago. But doing a post-game show works around his golfing schedule, so it's good for him. Cowboys, they play on Monday night. Brian Schottenheimer was on the morning huddle today, had a lot of interesting things to say about the Raiders-Cowboys matchup. We'll dive into that as we continue here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding I-10 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
You know what's funny is driving here this morning, JD turns on his Nerdball Google Talker map thing. Swear to God, it started talking in the Southern slang.
It did.
It really did. I caught it immediately. Now, if y'all are hungry, go up 2 more lights and take a left.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Your fantasy roster is set. The smack talk is heating up, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing the ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans. Make the connection today with ESPN Bet Fan Center and the ESPN Fantasy app. ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening, because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hola, mi esposo se lastimó en un accidente ayer. ¿Me puede ayudar?
Claro que sí. Estamos aquí para servirle.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7. Our team of Texas attorneys has been helping people injured in car, truck, or 18-wheeler wrecks for more than 25 years. And there's no fee unless we win. Y hablamos español. If you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Hornitos Tequila and America's team have one major thing in common. Everyone can enjoy them. They weren't made just to have a few fans, but to gather people who love high-quality, real Texas football and premium fresh-pressed agave tequila. It's for all our fans. Whether you live in Texas or not, or sip your Hornitos in a Paloma or straight, it's 100% agave tequila for 100% of Dallas Cowboys fans. Hornitos, the tequila de todos. Drink smart. Hornitos Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume. 2025 Salsa Tequila Import Company, Chicago, Illinois.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In college football, third-ranked Texas A&M's back at home at Kyle Field to take on South Carolina tomorrow. Kickoff set for 11, and it's a game you can catch on your home for the Aggies. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star starting at 10 with the pregame. UTSA's on the road to take on Charlotte with kickoff set for 11 in the morning as well. 6th-ranked Texas Tech welcomes UCF into Lubbock for a 2:30 kick on Fox, and the 10th-ranked Texas Longhorns will be in Athens, Georgia to take on the 5th-ranked Bulldogs. Kickoff set for 6:30, and it's a game you can catch on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star starting at 6 with the pregame.
This Sports Center update brought to you by Twin Peaks.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Just after 5 o'clock on a Friday, your weekend is here. It is the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're still watching on YouTube. You can do that over on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. On this Football Friday, I'm Jason Minix out at Ferris Stadium. Reinagel is getting ready for a rehearsal dinner because he's got to deal with a football season wedding that he's thrilled about. But, we got another hour to go here on the Blitz. Lots to get into on this Friday night at Ferris Stadium. We've got Sotomayor against Brandeis tonight as our Quarter Moon Plumbing High School Game of the Week, energized by Hill Electric. Playoff edition. Should be a really, really good game when you think about the regular season matchup that these two teams had that went to triple overtime. We'll have athletes all over the field. This will be a good game. First round playoffs are always kind of interesting because, district champs, 1 seeds playing 4 seeds, and you saw that with some of the Thursday night games, not very competitive. And I think there will be some good games this weekend, but there's going to be a lot of blowouts as expected. There'll be some upsets. There always are, but I think tonight we've got a really good, evenly matched game for you here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And if you're out driving around, we do our best to try to keep you updated with other scores from around the area because, it's playoff time. And for us, our final broadcast of the season, we do one playoff game and call it a season. Kind of odd that wrapping up year 28 for me doing high school football in San Antonio. And somebody said, man, it goes by so fast. And, it does when you're at the end, but kind of in the middle. Some of those weeks in the middle feel like they take years, but that's part of it. 12 straight weeks of Friday nights and, Saturday. I know tomorrow I was at the meat market earlier, having a barbecue tomorrow for that Texas Georgia game. Got a tri-tip, got a couple of racks of St. Louis style ribs.
9 o'clock, right?
Got to do some pork belly burn ends, probably some poppers. Got some Axis sausage because my annual hunting trip is next week, and I've got 2 links of Axis sausage left. So, yeah, and just me and my wife. It's crazy how that's going to be. And Pledge can come over like at 10:30.
10:30.
Okay. Well, p.m., not a.m. p.m. Although Rob Thompson, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob showed up at 11 for the Aggie game. And just parked it on the couch all afternoon. Because that's what he's going to do. It's either going to be my couch or his couch. So either way, he might be over there early. Others will trickle in throughout the day. And Pledge, you can come over some point in the second half just so everybody else has a chance to eat. Because I know what you're thinking. There's 2 racks of ribs, one for you and then one for everybody else. Because I know you. I know you too well. But I also know, if John leaves a little meat on the bone, you'll clean that up too. So you'll be fine.
Can't leave anything on the bone.
No, you don't. You're kind of scary when you eat, man. But that's why I'm telling you, second half. Everybody else, kickoff of whatever game you decide. Pledge can come over for a kickoff for the Pac-12 After Dark game. Who is the Pac-12 After Dark game?
There are only 2 Pac-12 schools, right? Do they just play each other over and over again?
Well, no, they have a schedule. It's like Sam Houston State last week. And one of the more incredible, ridiculously stupid, dumb games I've ever watched. And I'm at a bachelor party in Scottsdale, and this game was so ridiculous, we were actually paying attention to it because it was that nutty as Sam Houston got their first win of the season. In one of the – go look at the box score of that game. Uh-huh.
With zero offense.
They got 2 special teams touchdowns. Oregon State had almost 500 yards, but they couldn't score. It was bizarre. But that's why you like football. There were other things going on too, but the game was on, and it was the only game on. So obviously it was on the TV.
Rigorous games of pickleball.
What's that?
I said some rigorous games of pickleball.
There were. The house that we had in Scottsdale Pledge looked like a resort, a small hotel resort.
Stupid.
Had a pool, lazy river, basketball court that was, had lights, pickleball, tennis, had a putting range, work on your short game. It was dumb. That house was, well, whatever it was, whoever decided that they were going to Airbnb this thing out either had bachelorette parties or guys weekend in mind. I don't know that house would be quote unquote livable, although it'd be a cool place to live. But I mean, it was designed for all kinds of fun and all kinds of activities. And you get a bunch of drunk dudes out there trying to play pickleball yeah.
Did the lazy river go inside this big house?
It did not. The lazy river stopped. I'm trying to think of it. I did see it once, but it stopped kind of over in this back kind of cove area that was right off the master bedroom into a hot tub. So like if you were in the master bedroom, you could just walk right out, get into the river, and off you go into this ridiculous pool. It was stupid. There was a bridge over the pool. I mean, the whole thing with the outdoor kitchen. The only thing that was dumb about this house that you go through all this, and there is an outdoor kitchen kind of off to the side, and like away from the pool and away from the house, and the outdoor TV was on the back side of the outdoor kitchen. So unless you were standing at the grill, you couldn't see the television. So if you're at the pool where they put their outdoor TV, you couldn't see it. Now, we maneuvered some things in there, so we had a great one that you could see from the pool. But of all the things in the design, that's where they put an outdoor TV. That part didn't make much sense. It was a dumb house.
In a multitude of ways, it sounds like.
And when I say dumb, I mean just like ridiculous that somebody came up with that. But I'm glad they did because it was fun. But like I said, I don't know if you could live in that on a regular basis, although I'd like to be rich enough to live with all those things at your disposal.
Be fun.
It was basically, it looked like they took over 4 lots, bulldozed whatever was in some of these other, and they just kept adding on. Like we were sitting there trying to figure out, what do you think this house originally looked like when it was built? And then you pull it up on Zillow and you see how many millions it would go for. And you go, holy crap. But you believe it because it was that dumb. It's a good weekend. Good weekend. I don't know how we got onto that with Pac-12 After Dark.
You were watching the game there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So what's the Pac-12 app? Did you find out? Because that's when you're allowed to come over tomorrow, Pledge. Not before. Or you'll have to stop at like Taco Cabana or something on the way. Bring your own.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Do that.
I'm kidding.
Tulsa and Oregon State play at noon, so it's not that one.
That's not After Dark. There's got to be
the only
one.
other team's Washington State. They play at 9 against Louisiana Tech. So
see,
that's the
your
After
Pac-12,
Dark game.
Yeah, that's on the CW. And again, I kind of like the Pac-12 After Dark games. One of the things that bothers me, and high school football to me, Friday nights are sacred for high school football. And like tonight, it's playoff time. Although this time of year, if colleges wanted to put more games on Friday, I think you could understand it because there are fewer and fewer high school games. But there was an article out today talking about college football expansion for television. And because television has changed so much in the last couple of years, networks aren't doing scripted shows like they used to. Fridays were never big stay-home TV nights because so many people go out. And you can only watch so many reality shows. Games are the only appointment television out there. And if you're in a smaller conference or even a medium-sized conference, fighting for eyeballs because now there are so many places you can watch games that there is a prediction that there will be more and more Friday games on the major networks. And even Friday doubleheaders that you could get into. And you could almost see it coming. I mean, every year when UTSA has a Friday night game, Jeff Traylor will be on this show saying how much he hates it because he is a high school coach at heart, but he understands it because of the money and the exposure that the schools get. I just wonder if, like NFL can't have Friday night games because of that rule from like 1964. I wonder if they should put something in to protect the high schools from college games that are now you're going to start seeing, the prediction is more and more college games on Friday nights. And I know Fox is doing it, and there's probably a couple of games on tonight. Honestly, we'll probably have one on the iPad here in the booth, that or the Spurs, or both, depending on how many iPads John Robbins brought. But we brought 3. So we're going to have multiple games going on because, we're grown-ass men that can multitask. I can call a game and watch a game at the same time. And really, you just kind of glance over. But I'm not a fan of Friday night college football. To me, that should be sacred for high schools. Thursday night, and I know Don Harris and Chuck McIntyre deal with that because, they do their Thursday night light broadcasts and they're always going up against an NFL game. And that makes it tough. But because of the UIL rules, you're not supposed to broadcast on television Friday night games live. They made the exception during COVID, but because it could hurt attendance, they don't let you do Friday night games on television. You could do Thursday, you could do Saturday. Well, Don Harris ain't going to work on Saturday, so they do Thursday games. We do Friday games because I don't want to work on Saturday either. I get it. But the idea of more college football on Friday night just for television purposes, I'm not a fan of. I understand they want the exposure and the money's there, and for the TV networks, that's what they're looking for, eyeballs. And again, if you're going out on a Friday night, you go to a place like the Roo Pub, that game is going to be on. If you go to the Roo Pub on a Friday night, you're not going to watch NCIS Pick Your City because that's not what you do on a Friday night, which is there's fewer and fewer of those shows available because they're expensive to make and people aren't watching them like they used to. Just the way the TV world has changed. But reading that today, the prediction of more and more Friday games, I'm certainly not a fan of that. Got high school football tonight here on the radio. It's going to be a good game. Brandeis and Sotomayor here for our Quarter Moon Plumbing high school game of the week. Cowboys, they play on Monday night. We'll talk Raiders and Cowboys coming up here on the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and AARP Texas are sending Cowboy fans to Jerry World to see America's team play all season long. How do you get in on the action? Head to sasportstar.com now and register to win. sasportstar.com. Live it up with the boys in the Big D from AARP Texas and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've been representing people injured in traffic collisions here in San Antonio for more than 30 years. After a collision, I've spoken to many people who wanted to believe that the other driver's insurance company would be fair and they really didn't need an attorney. They thought that the insurance company would pay their medical bills and do the right thing. I wish that were true, but trying to go it alone is a big, big mistake. If you have been injured, please know the other driver's insurance company has adjusters and attorneys working against your interest. If insurance companies were trying to get to heaven, I'd be out of a job, gladly. That is just not the world we live in, though. Call me as soon as you can if you are injured in a traffic collision. I do not charge anything to review your case with you. I'll tell you what you need to do and what you should not do. If you want a smart and fair result, you'll need to make smart decisions along the way. And that is what I do. You and I will make smart decisions for you and your family, and we'll get justice and fair results. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website, alawyerforus.com.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far.
And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
It's back, just in time for the holidays, the UTSA Roadrunners Holiday Auction. Bid on over 100 incredible items, including gift cards, electronics, trips, and much, much more. Imagine doing all your Christmas shopping without the hassle of holiday crowds. Best of all auction proceeds directly benefit the Roadrunners football program. It's a true win-win opportunity. Go to 210cityfans.org and start bidding today. That's 210cityfans.org, and Merry Christmas.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Dallas Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer goes one-on-one and has some fun with the Morning Huddles. AJ and Rob, Friday mornings.
Brian Schottenheimer, good morning, Coach.
Hey, what's up, guys? I got to say, it was a weird transition for me to come on to the show and hear a bunch of moaning. And then I heard moaning and manning and all these things. It was really kind of weird. Edwin didn't prepare me for that.
Moaning? Coach, tell him. Can you tell the audience you've got no interest in drafting Arch Manning in the upcoming draft?
Brian Schottenheimer's unfiltered look at the Cowboys' upcoming game. Friday mornings, presented by AA Best Bail Bonds on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
San Antonio is Aggie country. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Ryan Egel, he's off today. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Friday night, whether you're listening on the radio, watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel, online at sasportstar.com. Any one of the apps. Glad to have you here on this Friday. It's going to be another Sunday without the Cowboys. Third Sunday in a row, which, because they played Monday, they had a bye, and now they play again this Monday. And if you're a YouTube person, you're still SOL because they have yet to reach an agreement. And who knows when this is going to end, because they've been in a lot longer than a lot of people thought. So, I don't know, Rupub or wherever you're going to be on Monday if you're a YouTube type, for Monday night between the Cowboys and the Raiders. Brian Schottenheimer, Cowboys head coach, was on the morning huddle this morning, as he is every Friday, with Rob and AJ, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. And I know this week has been a very difficult week for them after the suicide death of Marshawn Nealand, but they do have a game that they have to get ready for. And Schottenheimer did say this defense, which does have some new additions, as well as some players that will be making their debuts coming off of injury, like DeMarvion Overshown and Vaughn, as Schotty calls him. But he said, really, it's going to start with getting pressure on Geno Smith.
Yeah, for sure. And really, I think when you look at Geno's interceptions, I mean, again, a lot of it is based off of the pass rush and how you're able to affect him. And I think he's been sacked like 27 times. So let's hope that continues. Sorry, Geno. But I hope that continues, on Monday night. And that's a huge, huge part of it. But in terms of guys taking risks and things like that, I think it's again, they're going to play their technique. They're going to trust their keys. They're going to, trust what they see from splits and things like that. But I do believe that we're going to get some opportunities to get the ball in our hands, and we just have to capitalize on those and make the plays.
Well, and obviously, I mean, that's the key. And now, you would like to think the Cowboys could get after Geno Smith, but this Cowboys defense has made a habit of making the opposing quarterback look like a Hall of Famer this year. So I don't know if you can count on that. But they did make the trade for Williams. They do have the new linebacker in Wilson. They do get a couple of guys back. So maybe the defense looks a little bit different. Hopefully it looks better. It will look different. And Shotty talked to the boys this morning on the morning huddle about getting those new additions on the defense in sync.
The good news is this, obviously Quinnen's been around, Aaron White-Cotton, our defensive line coach. So again, there's an easy way to translate a lot of that stuff. He's obviously an incredible player. We know that. And his football acumen and just his love for the game is very evident when you sit and talk to him for 90 seconds. You can feel it jumping out of him. And again, one of the things we loved about Logan Wilson was, his football IQ and ability to dissect things. And so the playbook will not be the problem at all. Those guys will definitely be ready to play. It's us finding, like you said, the best ways to plug those guys in, along with a number of guys we've got coming back that I'm sure we'll talk about. Demo coming back and getting Siobhan Revel going a little bit. We just started the practice window for Malik Hooker. That's exciting. And again, it's a good problem to have as a coaching staff of, okay, how do we want to piece these guys back together? But we'll be smart with these guys that haven't played football for a while, guys like Demo and Vaughn, and whether you want to call it a pitch count or a ramp up, type of deal. We'll be intelligent, but it's going to be hard to keep Demo and those guys off the field.
Well, and again, those are good problems to have. I don't know if you should chuckle when you say you're going to be intelligent, because I don't know, maybe you don't even believe that, but we'll see. I mean, they'll have a good plan, and Schottenheimer has had a record is what it is, but for the most part, he has handled everything the way he needs to, especially this week. But he's in charge of the offense, and the offense has been crap in their last two games. I mean, let's face it. This Dak Prescott offense, with the weapons that he has, with the CD Lamb and George Pickens and, Ferguson, and Ferguson had that bad fumble against Arizona. But let's face it, the offense against Denver wasn't good, and the offense was atrocious against the Arizona Cardinals in their last game out. And as Shotty said today, ball security, turnovers are the biggest reason why we have not seen that offense hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, totally. Again, it's just there's so many huge momentum swings, and I think what I'm really, in answering the question, I'm thinking about is, man, we kind of started the year, behind the eight ball. We turned it over early, and we put ourselves at one point. We were in, I think, game 2 or 3, we were -5 in the giveaway takeaway battle, and then we battled back and we went 4 straight games. Think about this: 4 straight games where we, number one, didn't turn it over on offense, and then we took it over at least once on defense. And so we flipped that number, and we went from dead last in the NFL to, I think, top 10 or top, somewhere in that realm. And then, unfortunately, just against Arizona, our lack of ball security, lack of locking the ball up in traffic, things like that kind of took over, and we need to be better, because it is the largest determining factor of winning and losing in this league. Because of why? Well, momentum, short fields, and again, it can be very deflating. So we usually play well, execute well when we take care of the football, and it's the first thing that stands out when you talk our football mantra. It's win the turnover battle, and quite honestly, that's kind of where we find ourselves right now, and why that game kind of got away from us.
And again, reasons or excuses, and he's not wrong, but again, that offense with the weapons that Dak has, is got to score more than 30 points a game, damn near 40 points a game, knowing how bad the defense is for them to have a chance. And, we talk about all these different weapons. One that I haven't mentioned is Kevontae Turpin, and he's been on a milk carton this year.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that jumps out at me is this. Number one, teams are punting away from him. That's not a dumb decision on their part, right? They don't want to try to punt the ball to him. That's become very, very clear. They'd rather pin him on the sidelines or even kick it out of bounds one. And I think we're still kind of getting a feel for, the way the kickoff rule is just even expanded, because I think, the biggest thing with Turp is he's a game changer in every phase. And I'm just waiting. I think it's going to happen soon. I really do. I think he's going to take one of these punts or one of these kicks, and he's going to do what he normally does and what we expect, which is the explosive or the big play touchdown and things like that. But there's definitely things that we can do from an offensive standpoint where we want to get him the ball out in space and things like that. But I do think that, in fairness to Turp, again, the injury did slow him down, and I think he's just getting back to where he's starting to feel really, really good.
And again, if he can, in the return game is one thing, but even in the overall scheme of the offense, and I know there's one football and there's a lot of weapons, but he could be a game changer. Now, one thing that Schottenheimer did say, everything offensively, they got to figure out how to stop that Max Crosby guy on the other side.
Well, I think, you see the first thing would be Max Crosby. I mean, the guy's an incredible player. I know he's a local player. He's an incredible talent. His motor is unmatched in the National Football League, in my opinion. He literally, we were talking about, well, yeah, when he comes out, maybe we can do this or maybe we can do that. It's like, he doesn't come out. Okay, cool. That's very unusual, by the way. I mean, this guy's playtime is over like 92 or 93%. And he's just an elite player and very disruptive, both run and pass. So that's one. And then again, I do think on offense, they really want to run the football, and they drafted Ashton Genty high for a reason. And we all know the talent of him. And the quarterback is a guy I'm very familiar with, Geno Smith. We were together in Seattle, one of my favorite people in the world, and truly one of the most pure passers. If you were just watching 10 elite or 10 NFL quarterbacks throw a football, guys, I'd be honest with you. I mean, Geno might throw the prettiest ball of anybody I've ever been around. It's just, it's pure. It's incredible. And then, of course, the other thing would be Brock Bowers. I mean, this tight end, he has a chance to revolutionize the game at that position because of his athleticism, and he's a great route runner. He's got great hands, great body control, but man, when he has the ball in his hands, he runs like a runner. And so they definitely have some weapons that we need to be very aware of on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they do. And again, though, it is a game that the Cowboys should win. And obviously, we'll talk a lot more about it coming up on Monday as we lead into the game. On Monday, Cowboys Raiders in Las Vegas. Schottenheimer every Friday on the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Right now, we got a pair of tickets to give away. You want to win free stuff? Of course you do. The Growlers North American Tour 2026 coming to the Aztec Theater on April 2nd. Let's give away a pair of tickets. We'll give them to caller number 9 right now. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller 9, you're going to win a pair of tickets to go see the Growlers. If you don't win them, you can always buy them at livenation.com. Ryan Eagle's out. We're still going to do prime picks. He's no longer in the lead, so I don't know. Maybe we'll find a caller that can make picks for Ryan Eagle today. What the hell? We might have some fun with that. Who knows? Prime picks coming up here on the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, make sure you get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro, especially if you need caps made. Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, and he's got all the popular cap brands like the Richardson 112 style trucker caps, Katie caps, Nike Cap America. He has them in stock just waiting for your logo. If you need t-shirts screen printed, Sam will get you taken care of. If you just need a logo on a golf shirt, a fishing shirt, a dress shirt, this time of year, half zip, hoodie, jacket, go see Sam. Again, all the big name brands, Nike, Under Armour, Travis Matthew, North Face, Eddie Bauer, Port Authority, to name a few. And Sam is also now carrying a full line of Tommy Bahama. Incredible pricing on the Tommy Bahama, and that price does include your logo. Nobody has better prices. Sam is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too big, no order too small, and all items do come with a warranty. Call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing, 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or get into that massive showroom down on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410, right there across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
Dallas Cowboys fans, come on down!
It's AJ and Rob from the Morning Huddle, and you could be the next contestant on
The Stat Is Right.
Every week leading up to the week of the Cowboys home game, AJ and Rob toss out a Cowboys player and a stat from the upcoming home game. Passing yards, rushing yards, number of times Dak adjusts his wristband mid-play, or perhaps CeeDee Lamb mouthguard chews per quarter. Whatever, all you have to do is predict that stat, get the closest, and bam! You're headed to Jerry World with a pair of tickets to the next Cowboys home game. Think of it like The Price is Right, but instead of winning a blender, you get to scream, "How about them Cowboys?" inside AT&T Stadium. So study up, Cowboy Nation, and listen to the Morning Huddle to play. The Stat Is Right, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the Big Blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Nigel, why is there a giant turkey standing on my desk?
That's Harold.
Well, then whisper these words, Nigel. Deep fried. From all of us at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, we hope your Thanksgiving is filled with food, family, and fellowship. We couldn't ask for a better community to be a part of. So thank you, and happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 651-5899.
License number TACLA 141-074-EM16004.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with the Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio where I've practiced for more than 30 years. And San Antonio has really grown since I started practicing law. The risk of injury in a car crash today is greater than it's ever been because every day we're forced to share our roads with 80,000-pound 18-wheelers and some truly dangerous drivers. If you or a family member is injured in a car crash, know this. The insurance companies are mobilized against you. They have highly trained adjusters and a long roster of attorneys with one job: pay as little as possible. Their techniques are extensive, and I believe you have zero chance of obtaining a fair recovery on your own. If you're involved in a car crash, you need to hire an attorney as soon as possible after the collision and before you speak to the insurance company's adjusters. Now, I do not have a comic book nickname. I do not call myself the Law Eagle, the Tiger Lawyer, the Law Chupacabra. I think the practice of law needs to be taken more seriously. If you've been injured, call me, Jason Thompson, for a free consultation. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or my website, alawyerforus.com.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel. Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
It's time to kick off the holidays with your pop tailgate style. Hey, join Bluebonnet Pumpkin Biscuit and Selma on Wednesday, November the 19th from 9 to 6 for food, music, vendors, giveaways, and fun for the whole family. Furry ones included. Holiday kickoff tailgate only at Bluebonnet Pumpkin Biscuit.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday morning at 11, the Aggies take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Presented by Just Ponce. Pre-game at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel off today. He's got a football season wedding that he's thrilled about attending. I think tonight's rehearsal dinner and then the wedding tomorrow that he thinks he's going to just watch football all day. And everybody knows the honey-do list will be long. Football season weddings. It's a crime. Matt Roy, who's doing the game with me tonight, just said, yeah, that sucks. Football season weddings. Look, it's not Joe getting married. Although if Maggie would have said we're having a wedding and it was during football season, he would have said yes, dear. Because all of us that have been married a long time, we know we can talk the game, but in reality, it's yes, dear. And that's like going to a football season wedding. See, I got in trouble last night because I was giving Reinagel crap yesterday on the air, and I was reminded that last year I had to go to a football season wedding. And I wasn't happy about it, but my daughter's best friend was getting married, and my daughter was in the wedding, and so I had to go. But see, this particular wedding, which I thought was funny as hell, is Kerbo's dad is a big Georgia fan. Caroline Kerbo, that was her name, right? She was still her name. She went to, I forget what her new name is now, so it's not really Kerbo anymore. Nowinski. But she went to Alabama. Her dude went to Michigan. And I want to say Michigan was playing Michigan State that day. Alabama had a big day, but Dad, who was paying for the thing, says, we're not doing this when Georgia's playing. It was on the Georgia bye week by design during football season. And I have a feeling that if my daughter, who keeps telling me she will have an October wedding, it will be, if I'm paying for it, and I probably will be, it will be designed around bye weeks. Just saying. So you can have them. And as long as whoever's writing the check is happy, then you're going to be good. And now Matt Roy's grabbing for headphones. He can't help himself. He doesn't know how to turn them on, but but we'll see. You remembered from last week.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is. Yes.
Also, that's not how it works.
What do you mean that's not how it works?
She's going to have her date planned. Your daughter is going to have the date to the wedding planned 1.5 years in advance. You're not going to know anyone's bye week.
You know what? Planning for 1.5 years is ridiculous because all you talk about while you're planning a wedding is the wedding, and that leads to a lot of fights and disagreements because you're kind of a newlywed.
3 years almost.
Yeah, you probably had Jordan wanted you to be included and probably said, "What do you think of this?" or "What do you think of that?" And if you answered wrong, well, what about this? And you said, "Yes, dear." Right? Yeah. We've all been there.
I mean, we planned our wedding for I think we had 20 months.
Why?
Well, it was a long engagement.
Why?
Well, we were in the journalism industry, and we didn't know where we were going to be.
Well, it still doesn't matter.
But still, and also the venue we wanted was booking 2 years out.
Well, then get a different venue.
No, the venue is perfect. See,
it's 6 months, man. That's all you need.
For a guy who's celebrating 30 years here, like you, isn't that close? 30?
We celebrated 30 in July.
Okay.
So I'm over 30.
I mean, yeah, it's been a long time since you got there. It's been a long time since you planned a wedding here.
And you know what? 30 years ago, there were the same issues. I met my wife around Christmas, and we got married in July. We knew each other for 7 months.
I mean,
let alone have a 7-month engagement.
Fair enough. But Erica, knowing what she knows and knowing what you do, her planning an October wedding is just devious.
Well, it's because it's Halloween, and that's her favorite. October is her favorite month. She loves Halloween. And
she should plan it around Thanksgiving. You know the Cowboys will be off on that Sunday.
This is true, Saturday. But that's, again, not October. But it is, and again, she knows what I do for a living, and she could give a damn about sports unless she's actually going there, right? If she's going to a game, she's all in. But is she watching a game? No. When Spurs play the Suns in Phoenix, she's there every time. But does she keep up with them outside of checking a score? No.
Fair enough.
I mean,
she's going to be watching some Arizona State games over there. I mean, she went to ASU. She's got to be pretty into the Sun Devils.
I mean, she will go to games and like most students, not watch.
If you ask her what the score is after
the party. Well, we were all happy, so I guess we won. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
I
mean, at ASU, they had a huge problem with people leaving at halftime during most of their games when I was there.
Well, they sucked when you were there.
Well, that was the Jaden Daniels years when I was there, the Herm Edwards years when I was there. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad.
Jaden Daniels, because I know Herm pretty well. So when we were moving out there, Jaden was a freshman.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good idea at the time, and then I realized it was a bad idea. But Herm sent a couple of dudes over to help us move, and Jaden was one. Didn't really do a lot of lifting, but then I realized all these dudes now know where Erica lives, and that was it was a great help. But then it was
a good idea at the time,
and then I realized what
you signed your daughter up for.
I mean, a couple actually of the dudes actually lived in the complex. So
I mean, that was Jaden's freshman year. That was Brandon Ayuk's sophomore year, I think. That 2019.
He wasn't there. It was a couple of linemen and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. Oh no, Jaden Daniels, the guy who ended up winning the Heisman Trophy and second pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So, not a bad guy to know.
I don't know how much he actually carried, but he ate a lot of pizza. I remember that.
He needed some at that point. He weighed 120 pounds dripping wet.
He was extremely nice, very polite, very, very good dude. But again, when you got a couple of offensive linemen, if I could remember, one of them was actually pretty good. He was a left tackle at A&M and then transferred for his senior year out to Texas A&M, and he's from the Dallas area.
Oh, fair enough.
I might try to remember his name.
Well, what we've established is that if Erica wants an October wedding, you're not going to know when the bye week is, and you're just going to have to suck it up.
I probably will. We'll be flexible. I keep telling her, destination wedding. In fact, just here's a check. Go elope. We don't even need to do this wedding thing.
I mean, what some parents have done, and what some parents of my friends' parents have done, and said, go to the courthouse, and we'll give you whatever we were going to give you for the wedding as a down payment on your house, if that's what you want to do.
I mean,
there's you have $20,000 or however much you're going to give. We'll give it to you, and we would rather you spend it on a house.
Can you do a wedding for $20,000 in today's world?
Jordan, I did for less than that.
Well, again, you just said you were a journalist. You had to do it on.
We were economical.
Yeah. Is that the cheap?
No, it was a lot of Jordan doing a lot of stuff by her, on our own DIY.
Because you're useless when it comes to the wedding stuff.
I helped a little.
No, you didn't. You stayed out of the way.
I made tie-breaking decisions between her and her mother. And usually I sided, and it was really a coin toss who I was going to side with, depending on how that was going.
I will assume that you sided every time with Jordan.
No.
Really?
Lisa's can be very convincing.
I mean, there's a reason you currently don't have kids, and we just realized why. Because you sided with the wrong person.
I mean, you got my mother-in-law to like me.
That doesn't matter.
It matters a little.
Not really. Not really.
My wife loves me still, kind of.
I know her. I don't know that. Again, you side with her. If you like sex, you side with her. You messed up. Again, explains why you don't have kids yet.
Wasn't an issue either way.
Sure. Every Friday we do our prime picks for entertainment purposes only.
Prime picks on the Blitz.
All right, last week, Ryan Egel and I both went 7-3. We remain tied for the overall lead on the year at 69-41. Pledge did better last week than he did the previous couple. He was 5-5. He's bringing up the rear at 61-49. Ryan Egel's out today. He did leave his picks, although we are available to change them if we decide to. Or you want to just read Ryan Egel's picks?
Didn't Pledge pick against his Texans last week?
I did.
He did.
Oh, no wonder you went 5-5.
Yeah, that's what happens. We start with college games. Oklahoma and Alabama. Alabama at home.
Give me OU.
You're taking OU.
They've already gone into Tennessee and won. One thing we know about Oklahoma is that they're going to play really, really good defense. I think that game against Tennessee was a little bit of an eye-opener for them coming off a bye. Give me OU as they go. Joe has Bama, but you guys tend to pick the favorites, even though they're 5.5 points.
I'm taking Bama because Ty Simpson talks with Arch Manning about fronts and how to attack them, and they've already played OU, and Arch Manning had a pretty good day that day.
USC and Iowa. If this were in the cold, I might take Iowa. They're boring, sloppy. Give me USC at home.
I mean, who's Joe got? USC?
No,
Joe's got Iowa.
Joe's got Iowa.
I think
it's because he hates Lincoln Riley because he can't do a brisket.
Well, I think he's fallen into the trap of, they looked really good against Oregon last week at home in Kinnick, and they can take on USC now. It's different when you have a team traveling east going to Kinnick instead of you traveling west to go to USC or to go to the stadium. So I'll take USC on that one, but Joe is probably going to be wrong.
Well, I'm going to be wrong with them because I'm also taking Iowa because defensively they can muck it up.
Muck it up.
It's Jordan Mailata, man.
Notre Dame and Pitt. Game day is going to be there. McAfee's homecoming. He's going to wreck that city, but Notre Dame. Although, man, I'd love to see Pitt win.
Mm-hmm.
I really would. I don't even think it'll be close, Notre Dame.
I want to say Notre Dame by 40, mainly because the head coach over at Pitt said this game really doesn't matter because it's not an ACC game. And they could lose by 100, and it really wouldn't change their chances of winning the ACC. So I hate that, but I think that Pitt will keep it close, and Notre Dame will win by 10.
Well, now I want him to lose by 100 since he threw it out there.
I want him to lose by 100 too.
I'm also going to take Notre Dame.
And that's really their last test of the year before the playoffs get there. A game you can listen to tomorrow here on at 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Just Pots. 10 a.m. pregame kick at 11. A&M against South Carolina. Feels like it could be a trap game, but this A&M team is different. A&M is going to roll the Gamecocks.
We've seen the Gamecocks compete a lot this season. We saw them almost beat Alabama. We've seen them almost beat a lot of other teams. We're not going to see them almost beat the Texas A&M Aggies. Aggies by 1 million.
Texas A&M is going to make a statement, and I think Marcel Reed's going to kind of put an exclamation point on his trip to New York this weekend.
You know, that actually won't happen until Austin, but I get where you're going. He will keep the conversation going there. Ryan Eagle also taking Texas A&M. Another game you can listen to on 94.1 tomorrow night, Texas on the road at Georgia.
Man, I don't know where to go with the game because Arch looked really good at home against Vandy. He looked horrible against so many people this season. Has he turned a corner? Vandy has a good defense, but he was at home. So it's just, I'm really torn. And plus, Georgia hasn't really looked inspired this year. First half, Georgia is so much different than second half, Georgia. So if you were asking me, dude, does Texas win the first half? I might say yes. Did they win the game? I'm going to say no.
But, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you look at the first half line, and that's where you'd want to take Texas.
Right.
You know, but will they finish? I don't think so. I'm taking the Bulldogs.
I'm going to take Texas. I think Arch and Sark have kind of figured something out. And on top of that, Ty Simpson, he's talked to him. He looks at he and Arch are close. He's got an idea of what that front's going to be like, and they're going to be ready for it.
Yeah, but Pledge, there's a little bit of a difference between, hey, Ty, what do they run? Oh, they run the 4-3. The safety goes over the top, and then Arch actually being able to deliver the ball to his receiver.
I don't know. This feels like a win for Texas, and it's really a playoff game. They got to win 2 of their last 3, but a win on the road at Georgia. But I was in the stadium last year in Austin, and Georgia trucked them. Until they can beat them, I'm going to be rooting for Texas, but I'm not picking Texas in this one. In the NFL, I think the best game of the weekend,
second best,
Seattle and the Rams. I'm taking the Seahawks. I mean, they're just playing great football.
Rams. The Sam Darnold's too turnover prone. We saw it late once they got up 35-0 to the Cardinals last week. 3 turnovers late in that game. We've seen him be turnover prone all year and his entire career. So give me the Rams. Joe, give him the Rams.
Ryan Eagle's taking the Rams.
I'm going to take the Seahawks because Smith and Jigba is on a stupid pace this year. And on top of that, defensively, they're playing great. And I don't know if the Rams are going to have Devontae Adams for this game. So they could be down a significant weapon after he injured his oblique late in that game last week.
Lions and Eagles Sunday night. Second best game of the Sunday slate.
Third best.
Your favorite game isn't even on our list. Stop, Matt Roy. Ryan Eagle is taking the Lions. It's going to be cold in Philly, and the Lions are down a couple of weapons. It's been a weird week for Philly. I like Philly at home. If this game were in Detroit, I would probably take the Lions, but I like the home team in this one.
I'm going to go with Joe and take the Lions. I have no confidence in it at all, but give me the Lions against the Eagles.
I just don't have confidence in Philly's offense, so I'm taking the Lions just for their ability to put points on the board.
Carolina at Atlanta, because why not? All 3 of us are taking Atlanta. I don't even care what Matt's doing. Houston at Tennessee.
Choosing Atlanta and the Cardinals over the Broncos and Chiefs game is wild.
Well, honestly, you put some games on there that are a little bit weird just to thinking that there would be some separation there, right? Because everybody with their right mind is going to take the Chiefs to beat the Broncos because Bo Nix has been – well, Bo Nix, even though they've got a great record, but it's Patrick Mahomes against Bo Nix. You're going to take Patrick Mahomes. I know you're a Bronco fan and you're getting mad, but that's why.
My wife's a Chiefs fan. I deal with this every day.
And your wife is right. Yes, dear.
Yes,
just learn those words, man. You'll be fine.
Yes, dear.
Surprisingly, all 3 of us are taking Houston, including James Pletcher, which means Cam Ward might get his second NFL win.
Yeah, Texans are screwed. Thanks, James.
You're welcome.
In Monday night, Cowboys and Raiders. All 3 of us are taking the Cowboys.
And we did that against the Cardinals, too. It didn't work out.
I know, but isn't this just like with the Marshawn Nealon thing and everything going on, you have to take the Cowboys here.
Well, and they are the better team. Prime picks. You got Matt's picks, if you can remember them. Ryan Eagle's picks. Feel pretty good about it. Feel pretty good about the weekend as well. We're going to be back in about an hour here at Ferris Stadium for our Quarterman Plumbing High School Game of the Week, energized by Hill Electric, the playoff edition, Brandeis against Sotomayor. Pledge, extra innings with Pledge for the next hour here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding I-35 with the Blitz.